comes Kimani Ichung'wah, who decided to become very tough, to become very arrogant against Natembeya. The way he expressed himself, oh my God, I didn't expect that. It was like he made it so personal, and he really attacked Natembeya in a very bad way, which I think all that is out of pride of him. He's very close to the president without knowing that tomorrow things might change. So he has really the politics. But I want to say the bitterness in Kimani Ichung'wah, it is not because of Natembeya. It is because of the rejection he has faced in other places, especially in even in his own constituency, Kikuyu, where he comes from. He can't talk to anybody like that. Nobody will listen to him. He can't talk the same to anybody in central Kenya. So he is bitter. So he got the platform to put out, Yani Aongei Mutoke, what has been in his heart. What is in his heart is bitterness. So, and that was, I think, a very fertile ground for him to cough what was in his heart. And we saw a very bitter guy. And I don't think that's how we should take politics. We can be in different parties, we can have different views, but that does not mean that we become bitter against one another. That's how I see politics.
Wow, yeah, that's quite a good analysis of the current situation. But what we are seeing are the challenges are affecting leadership in Africa in general, and specifically Kenya. And I don't know why we are not addressing the root causes of this kind of patronage politics and entitlement. You know, our politicians have reached a point where they feel they are so entitled to whatever or whatever they have. You know, if be it a member of parliament, they feel that that seat belongs to them and does not belong to the people. Whatever positions that you're occupying in government belongs to the people of Kenya. Even the presidency belongs to the people of Kenya, but the president feels that that seat belongs to him. He does not respect the people anymore. And you have seen speaker after speaker in Kenya today, Mburu. I don't know whether people get it the way people look at it the way I see it. We have a government of a broad-based government that everybody seems to be in government. Everybody is in government and is under one president called William Ruto. In parliament, where the executive should be checked by the minority, you find somebody like Junet Mohammed is supporting every other government bill that is coming on the floor of the house. I mean, where are we?
Yeah, and just the other day, Junet Mohammed was a serious critic of William Ruto's government. So he was not genuine, because when he is outside, simply because he is not in that government, he is criticizing the government from morning to evening. But immediately he joined the government, he stopped to see anything evil against that government. So even the people who we have always been thinking that they mind about Kenyans and they mind about corruption and everything else, they don't mean whatever they say. They only say it because they are not the one who are eating it. And those are the kind of politicians that we have in Kenya, that they speak about evil when they are not the ones who are committing that evil. But the moment they join the government and they start doing the same things, so they will never talk about the bad things that are happening. So when we have the minority position in parliament, they are supposed to be checking the government. They are supposed to be speaking about the areas that the government is not doing right. But today, is anybody of them talking about those things? We don't have opposition. Right now, the opposition we have is the former deputy president, Gachagua, which is not supposed to be like that. We have a framework in the constitution. There are those that are supposed to check the government, but they don't. They are not doing their job right now. They are busy enjoying on the same table with the government. And that is what we are calling broad-based. Yani serikali ya marefu na mapana.
Inaitwa the broad-based, I call it the bread-based government, where, you know,
they are finishing. These are people who are finishing Kenya.
When you do you know, I don't know whether you grew up with one loaf of bread, and when one loaf of bread is brought in your house, there's a scramble for the first slice. We used to call it.
And most kids nowadays, they don't value food because they have plenty. They don't even value bread. They don't even bother about bread in the morning.
We used to scramble for that. Now, I find it is a scramble for attention in the political class.
So during our time, a bread was such a precious thing in the house. So right now, it is the high time that Kenyans should know who they are. It is what we call self-actualization. We should, as Kenyans, realize that we, as the people, are the employers of these politicians. And we should not allow them to behave like they are our bosses. That today the president want that when he coughs, we catch cold, you know, that nobody should write anything on the Facebook, on Twitter, or any other platform without thinking twice because of fear. That even when I am making submission here, I should be very careful not to rub the shoulders of the president in the wrong way.
The president of the Republic of Kenya is bigger than even Donald Trump. You know,
exactly.
Trump in America, Trump his images were being played in TikTok in very awkward positions. Some even when he's naked, you know. And
it is the high time. It is the high time that Kenyans should stop crying for justice, crying for their rights. They should start demanding for it. You know, there is a difference. Don't just lament about it. You have to demand respect from the people that you have employed yourselves. So these politicians, they feel so big when they're driving those limousines and those big machines, the Mercedes-Benz and Prados, which are very popular in Kenya today. But they don't know that we, the people, the common mwananchi, are the reason why they live the way they live. So it is the high time.
Let me just interject by playing this video for our viewers who probably didn't see the confrontation, so that I bring them to speed to what was happening in Bungoma on the funeral. And it is sad, you know, it is very, very, very sad. Let me find that clip.
Papa Atwoli ni mzee, he's an elder in this region. Na hawa wananchi wanamheshimu sababu ni mzee. Huyu sio mzee wa kusimama mbele ya halaiki ya wananchi kuongea uongo. Ati aseme kuna watu wanajiabduct. And it is not to say, Your Excellency, there are no abductions. Abductions are there. Governor Natembea, if you know the people.
Now, Amburu, why I stopped this video at that particular point, you heard what this guy has said in the beginning. You know, we need to analyze what these guys are saying. and just don't watch their videos before. We need to analyze exactly what they are saying.
Nelda in this region. Na hawa wananchi wanamheshimu sababu ni mzee. Huyu sio mzee wa kusimama mbele ya halaiki ya wananchi kuongea uongo. Ati aseme kuna watu wanajiabduct. And it is not to say, Your Excellency, there are no abductions.
What is he saying?
So he is trying to say that there are people who are abducting themselves. That is point number one. What should come to your mind as a critical thinker is, what is the benefit of a common mwananchi who has no relationship with the current politics have with to do with abducting himself or herself? How do I benefit if I abduct myself? Absolutely, there is no benefit of abducting yourself, because he has not told us that after abducting themselves, they have demanded for some money from some quarters. So what is he telling us? Then those are just reasons to try to disrupt the mind of Kenyans, not to focus, because Kenyans are focused so much on what has been happening. And Mzalendo, you remember, this has not started now. It started right from the time William Ruto took power. You remember the way he crushed the ODM or Azimio protesters. You remember how he crushed the Gen Zs. So when somebody stands on the podium and tells us that people are the ones abducting themselves, from the Azimio protesters, people were disappearing. The Gen Zs, many of them disappeared. They were killed. But that's not what they want to hear. You know, those things were happening in 1990s when we never had a good constitution like the one we have. So it is the high time that we must, or we start putting our government into account. We need accountability. It should not be that the reason why we elect a government is to bring order and organization in the nation. But the same government that is supposed to protect our lives becomes a threat to our lives. So they thought that they would continue snatching one person in one corner. Another day they snatch another person just to try to silence the people. People are saying we want good governance. Mzalendo, we have been in America with you. Mm-hmm. You have seen how people operate in America. Very mature. They have no time of sideshows. They have no time of competition. That William Ruto is there very busy making sure that his deputy does not become popular like him, because all what he's thinking about is his political future. You will never see that in America or any other civilized society. It is only in Kenya whereby we try to suppress people who have different views. It is only in Kenya whereby someone can kill because of his political career. It is very unfortunate. It is the high time we start telling the government, enough is enough. We need political maturity. We need tolerance that, yes, you are the president, and we know that. You don't have to tell us. We know that. But you should not feel agitated when we point out things that are wrong in your government. That is how it's supposed to be. So if he shows Kenyans that Kenyans, oh, you have the freedom of expression, and I'm listening to you because you are my bosses, then people will start respecting him. And doesn't mean that necessarily he is the one who is doing this. He might not even be behind what is happening. But his people, those who want to continue in leadership, those who are staunch supporters of his government, might be the ones doing that.
All right.
Like now,
mm-hmm.
Like now, Mzalendo.
Yes.
You see what has been happening. in central Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua is becoming very popular. And there are those people who were misreading the president, even misinterpreting what the former deputy president was saying. Every time he would speak in vernacular, the likes of Kimani Ichung'wah would misinterpret that to misinform, to distort the information that is going to the head of the president.
We can't verify that statement that you just
made.
I'm
saying that because I understand the vernacular he was talking and how they were interpreting it on the podium. So and that way they created bad blood between the president and the deputy. But do you know why they were doing that? It is because they were fighting for kingship. Who is the kingpin of central Kenya? And the president did not realize that these guys, they're having their own fights, but they are trying to drag me into their own political regional fights. And that is one thing that happened. So it could be those people who don't want this guy to continue being popular, because impeaching the deputy president did not stop him from campaigning to become popular, from campaigning to have a grip of politics of central Kenya. He has continued with his campaign. He has continued criticizing the government even more. Actually, he has become a very serious threat to Kenya Kwanza government. And those people who were not happy with him, and remember, Rigathi Gachagua was having enemies even before he was appointed by the president to become his deputy. Many of the heavyweight politicians never wanted him because they knew he had what it takes, even one day, to become the president. Because in this country, when you have money and you have courage and you have influence, it is very hard. It's very easy for you to become the president. The only thing he was not having are the people. So Rigathi Gachagua knew that I have money, I have influence, I have courage, but I don't have the people. Immediately he was appointed the deputy president, he started now bringing people closer to him. He started talking as if he is the one who is spearheading the things of Mount Kenya, because he wanted now to bring people closer to him. There are people who felt agitated. There are people who were very unhappy that the deputy president was becoming popular. They started fighting him seriously, and they dragged the president into their fights. So it could be William Ruto is not even aware of the abductions that are happening, because the people who are being abducted are those who are criticizing the president seriously and the government seriously. It could be that the same fights in Mount Kenya, those people who feel like these people who are criticizing the government, maybe they think they are being sent by Rigathi Gachagua. Maybe they feel he is the sponsor. So they may, and it's possible. It is possible, Mzalendo. Some of these politicians.
There's one thing I don't buy that you just said. Yes. That you said something that you're almost speaking like Ichung'wah. You're almost speaking like him. You just said, could it be that the president does not know that people are being abducted in Kenya?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Mark my words. I have said maybe he is not the one, but people who are working with him, because they feel the former deputy is becoming very popular, and they want to silence the voices out there because they think could be he is the one who is sponsoring these people. Because ask yourself, before the impeachment, where were these critics who are really criticizing the government? So there is, I have involved myself in small politics, but I know politicians can do anything. After Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, I know maybe he came with strategies of how will I make sure that
you know why I really don't like Rigathi Gachagua being dragged into the wars of happening in this country.
Abduction.
Abductions. You know, and
So-
before Gachagua even was impeached, there was a Gen Z uprising, and
yes, very serious, very strong.
very, very serious demonstrations happened. And when you say there were people were not criticizing the government, then you are wrong. There were people criticizing the government. We have been in this platform for a very long time criticizing the policies.
But the extent, right now it is rampant. The moment you open
right now, what has changed?
you open TikTok, everywhere you go, you see those cartoons. You see people criticizing the government. It has become more, and that is why I'm saying. That is why I'm saying we have to look at the
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, because we are playing this this clip and we are analyzing. You have analyzed it up to that point of the critical messages that these politicians try to pass around.
Before you play the clip, because there are those that are following us, I am not saying that Rigathi Gachagua is involved, but the people who feel threatened by his influence, his growing influence, and those who feel like the government is becoming unpopular and they don't want it to happen, they might even be kidnapping those try to silence people who are fighting the government, even without the knowledge of the president or without the blessings of the president.
Oh, you're
but
right.
I'm not defending. I'm saying that's just a possibility.
Okay.
Abductions are there. Governor Natembeya, if you know the people abducting people, you are an officer wa ngao. Wewe umekuwa ni regional commissioner, peana habari kwa idara ya DCI wachunguze wale wanashika watu. Lakini usije kukemea mzee Atuoli hapa sababu amesema, na ni kweli, huko Nairobi iko kijana amejificha. Wakati DCI amesema ako wanted, akajitokeza sasa akasema nitajipeleka na mawakili kwa DCI. But anajificha ili aseme ameabductiwa. I want to ask you, Governor Natembeya, you were a regional commissioner the other day when hundreds of people were kidnapped, abducted and killed in Kerio Valley na wakatupwa mili yao hapa River Yala, wewe ukiwa regional commissioner Rift Valley. Kwani siku hiyo haukujua maisha ya wananchi ni maisha? Si tuambiane ukweli jameni? Tuambiane ukweli, tusiambiane. Sababu siasa mnazofanya, Governor Natembeya, ni kuambie leo mchana dhahiri, siasa mnazofanya za kugawa watu kwa misingi ya ukabila, mambo ya uchochezi, hizo siasa zimekoma na hautafaulu nazo. Yule aliyekuwa kiongozi wako wa siasa za ukabila, aliyekuwa naibu wa rais, huyo ndiye mwenye kupanga mambo ya abductions ili awekelee huyu William Ruto. Tunawajua, tunawaona mchana, tutawatangaza mchana hadharani. Na usifikirie unaweza kutuuzia uoga hapa sisi. Wakati muliua watu mukaweka River Yala, you are the regional commissioner in charge of abductions and murdering Kenyans. Wewe mwenyewe, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. And I say again, shame on you, Governor. You cannot claim abductions when you are the key abductor and murderer of Kenyans under the previous regime. Na mzee Atuoli ananiambia alikupea pesa ukuwe governor.
Haya kamzee akanaga adabu. Unajua huyu kamzee, ngoja, huyu mzee ana adabu. Huyu mzee. Look at Atuoli. Akienda kumwambia na useme ni mimi ndio nilimpatia pesa kwa governor.
Those are the kind of politicians that we have.
Now, this is the court
in Africa,
I don't know where.
Mzalendo.
Yeah.
I remember we criticized the disappearances of people in Uhuru's government. But that does not warrant the government of Ruto to do the same. And right now, the people who are charged or people who have the mandate to do the investigations and to protect Kenyans are the DCI and every other relevant authority, not the governor. So they should not try to tell us or to just give us assumptions and rumors. We want answers, and Kenyans should demand for answers. And if the president and his government cannot tell Kenyans where their children have gone, and they cannot account for the disappearances, then they don't have the moral authority to talk about this topic. They don't even deserve to be in the government. Not even one person should miss in a civilized society. People die in Kenya. We talk about it for 1 week, 2 weeks. We forget about it. People are killed, even assassinated, even senior government officials. They are shot dead. They are killed. We talk about it for 1 month or 3 weeks at most, and we forget about it. We are very good at, being charged very easily, becoming very emotional. Then within no time, we forget about it, and we start singing praises over the same people who are supposed to be telling us what is going on in our country. I don't want to be in a situation or in a country whereby after holding this show that tomorrow I can't walk freely because I am afraid, who might be following me. That is the kind of a country that we have.
Yeah, people are scared. People are scared, Mburu. And, I'm glad that you come out and speak your mind. People are scared to come on social media. People are really scared because of the abduction. And young people who are very, very vibrant, a good number of them have been silent to submission. A good number of them. You remember this guy who was saying that he can hack the systems. This cyber IT guy, guru kind of, who came up. Those were the initial stages of Gen Zs. And this guy, he was abducted, he came back and he disappeared completely. A few of them have come back.
It's very unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. Mzalendo, maisha ni muhimu sana. You have children. Can you imagine those children, those young boys, those young girls that are disappearing and being killed and such kind of things? Others are tortured and released. They are just like your own children. And I want to tell the president and his team and those that are in government, hawa watoto mnaotesa ni kama tu wale watoto wenu. Hawa watoto wanaouawa, hawa watu, awe ni mzee, awe ni mtu kama hawa watu wenu mlio nao. Yani unaamuka ukidhani watoto wako wako sawa, wamepotelea kwa mikono ya wale wanastahili kuwachunga. It is very painful. It is very painful. Ukijua ya kwamba huyu mtoto mumeua will never again come back to life. Hata wairudi, if you shoot somebody, that person will never come back. Serikali itatoka, ingine itakuja. Na uliua mtoto kwa sababu ya serikali ya miaka 5. Je, wewe sio mjinga? Huyo ni mtu mjinga. Because a wise person should see beyond the government, because William Ruto government is very temporary. After 5-10 years, it will not be William Ruto's government. It will be another government. But somebody's life was terminated to protect the government. What kind of stupidity is that? To me, it's very unfair. Nobody should die. Nobody should die because of power.
Mburu, you know the sad part about it is that we are just from the festive season, and these guys were abducted precisely towards the festive season, and it was done deliberately for the families to feel the pain and for them to feel the pain. That in Christmas today. That young man who was creating the silhouettes for William Samoei Ruto could be they are dead. Could be.
Yeah. And that is what the deputy president said. The deputy president said that hawa watoto ile sababu tunasema waachiliwe na hawaachiliwi ni kwa sababu huenda ikawa wameuawa, na kama mmewaua si basi mpatie wazazi wao mili yao wakazike.
Yani inaweza kuwa kuna mtu tu alienda akachukua watoto na akaenda kawaua. Now the most painful and I've narrated
it's unimaginable. Incomprehensible.
These are kids these are young boys who are probably less than 30 years old.
Oh yes, most of them are Gen Zs.
Yeah,
very young.
20,
not even 30, 25 and below.
25 and below. Can you imagine a 25-year-old and below is being killed by a 50 or a 40-year-old man who has got children the same age? And the last moments, the sad part is the last moment of these kids. Mburu, when you smell death, you've owned a car and you've seen accidents, or you are near.
But Mzalendo,
or you've been attacked by thugs in your house. Can you imagine these kids crying their last? What did they say last? What they said last,
and begging them, please, don't kill me, don't kill me. Yeah. And the reason why they are being killed is maybe because this kid has drawn a cartoon trying to send a certain message. What I should do, or what I can do if I am those politicians, is just to ignore. Uhuru Kenyatta, there was a time he was really criticized on the social media. And what he decided to do is to leave. He was not in any of those platforms. He didn't even want people to tell him how he is being abused. He was even trying to pass the law to try and at least have something that can protect the government against cyberbullying and all that. But the court said no, let people speak. So, but this government is not willing to be tolerant to anybody who is criticizing the government. And that is why I'm saying, even if the president is not aware, he has all the machinery for investigation to know who is this person. Because as we speak now, William Ruto government is very unpopular. One, he said he's not aware. Imagine, you see, it's unfortunate that all of us are looking upon the president to tell us what is happening, only for him to come out the other day and he said that from the time he became the president until now, he don't know of a child or anybody who went for demonstrations and never went back to their home. He is not aware of anybody who has been killed by police officers. Now, where do we run to?
We don't know where to run to, Mr. Mburu, and it is unfortunate.
So we need some civilization. We need some civilization. We need some maturity. All of us as a nation. And that's why I said, even in our criticizing the government, sometimes we go overboard by drawing those pictures of the president in a coffin, the president being dead, the president being buried. It's unfortunate. But the most we expect from the government is maybe to arrest that person and take that person there to the court of law. We cannot be acting like a banana republic where there is no constitution. We cannot suspend the constitution simply because people have committed crimes. The work of the government is to arrest them and lend them to court, not to kill. Nobody should kill another, whether you are in government or not. Nobody should even, in places like, in many places, nobody fears to talk. People talk freely. Like now, Mzalendo, we come here and sometimes we differ sharply, very sharply with some panelists. That does not mean I should even hate. You ignore. You rise above board. You just know this thing will pass. But these politicians, they believe they are above the law. We have seen some of them who have shot people. Nothing was done to them. Others, they have killing cases. But they are still our leaders. We praise evil. Others who have been charged with serious corruption, we praise them day and night. I think it's the high time we start saying, no, we need paradigm shift. We need to change how we do things. We need to.
People wonder, people wonder why the president is being drawn in cartoons and all that. Those are ways of expressing yourself as a young person. We saw here in the US, Donald Trump being, drawn in many, many ways. Many ways. And, they didn't make a fuss out of it. It was not a big deal. It was not a big deal to them. They made jokes out of the president and they just enjoyed some of those images. But in Kenya today, you draw a president, oh my God, you're doing it at your own risk. They will come for you.
And those things used to happen. Those things used to happen when we were very young democratically, when after taking power from the colonial government, it has been a gradual process to reach where we have reached, but nobody should take us back to those years. Kenya has become of age democratically. During Moi's time, you would think and you would talk and somebody would record you and they would use that against you, that you have mentioned something negative about the president. That is where they're trying to take us. Yeah, a very close person to me was arrested because of that. Saying the government, how the economy has become very bad, not even something very serious, talking something about the economy and the performance of the government. He was arrested. That was during Moi's time. Today, it is so many years from the time of Moi. Nobody should think or imagine we can go back there. No.
I think people cannot imagine that we can go back to the dark days of Moi, but we are slowly slipping back to where politicians didn't make sense during Moi's time, and they were very, very loyal to the president. And this thing happened. This thing has been happening gradually. Gradually, we are drifting back. You remember the days of people like Namulu Mutisia?
Oh my God!
People like
and Totoman,
JJ Kamotho. Yeah, people like we had somebody like Oloa Ingo. We had those people who are loyal to the presidency, and we have seen either you are loyal to your party leader or you are loyal to the presidency, but you are not loyal to the people of Kenya. That is the biggest problem that is affecting our country: tribalism and corruption. And there's a lot. It seems, Mburu, that there is a lot to be gained when you are in government. It comes with a lot of benefits that you can sacrifice anything, sacrifice your integrity, sacrifice your pride, sacrifice even the education that you have. Yeah.
I hate the way our politicians conduct themselves. They are like semi-gods. You saw even the clip you had put here, the level of authority that Kimani Ichung'wah is using to address the governor. It can tell that this guy feels so powerful and so mighty, to the extent of telling a governor, shame on you, in front of the congregants. I mean, he was like addressing a kid.
Yeah, this is somebody elected, but he's a governor. A governor is somebody, not an MP. Somebody.
You can imagine, this is an MP abusing a governor authoritatively, simply because he is very close to the president. I mean, that's not how it's supposed to be. And the reason why he is abusing the governor is simply because the governor has stated a statement of fact, and he did it respectfully. As Mr. President, let us not say that there are no abductions. Let us agree that abductions are there, and the relevant authorities should take charge and do the necessary. What was wrong with that to warrant all that rage from the member of Kikuyu? That is what to me, that is immaturity, because he's personalized a general statement.
Yeah. This is serious, because
Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, Mheshimiwa Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Prime Cabinet Secretary Mheshimiwa Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, Speaker wa National Assembly Mheshimiwa Wetangula, magavana wenzangu ambao wako hapa,
yes, hello, this is our mother's funeral. If you came to mourn with us, we don't want that unnecessary and unfriendly noise. Wewe.
that mother made my day. She made my day.
itifaki zote zikihifadhiwa, mimi nimekuja hapa kwa sababu hata kwa hii familia mimi niko na marafiki. Mzee wa boma hii Mheshimiwa Mzee Dominic, mimi huongea na yeye. Hata wakati mama alikufa, wala ambao mnapiga kelele, kabla mama afe, mimi niliongea na mzee, hata nikamtubia fedha akaenda hospitali. I gave him money. Niko na ndugu zangu katika hii familia, kina Fred, kina Tim ambaye ni marafiki zangu. Ile mambo ambayo tumekuwa tunapiga siasa is not personal. It's not personal. Na mimi nimekuja hapa kwa sababu speaker amempoteza mama, na kifo inaweza kumpata mtu yeyote yule. Hatuwezi kuwa na mipaka kwa sababu ati ya siasa mtu anaomboleza alafu nakaa kando. Na yule ambaye anakuja kupiga kelele hapa, I think you have got better use for your mouth. Please. Your Excellency, I've seen some of my brothers come here to make requests to you. And yet in government, itakuwaje kwamba tunangojea kwa matanga ndio tunaomba rais kitu hiki, and when it's not there you tell us you're in government. Mko na forum ya kuambia rais hayo maneno. Jambo la mwisho, Your Excellency, and I say this is a very heavy heart for a leader to stand here and tell you kwamba people are abducting themselves and they're killing themselves. I think it's unfortunate. It's not for these hallowed grounds. Our children are getting lost, they're being abducted, wengine wanauawa. That's the position. We should not cover up the basic truth. Hata rais mwenyewe amesema kwamba utasimamisha hii maneno. Tunataka mambo ya abduction ifanye nini? Ikwishe tu. Because this Kenya is enough for us. Watoto wanatukana watu kwa mitandao. Hata mimi nikifungua my WhatsApp, my groups ambazo niko pale, for every 2 comments, every 10 comments, 8 of them ni matusi. Wanatukana vibaya sana. That one needs to change. But if it can't change, people should not be killed because of that. Ama kuwa abducted because of that. Hapana. It's not enough.
Siambiane. Sababu siasa mnazofanya
We can't hear you, Mzalendo. You're muted.
This is Donald Trump. Americans making fun of the president.
Mm-hmm.
Huu ni rais wa Marekani, the first world, but
The superpower.
the superpower, but you'll never find that ati ameshughulika na people writing cartoons. The president,
He will never even talk about it. He will never comment about it.
those things, Mr. President, those are things that you ignore. Continue with doing your work, and it will stop.
But Mzalendo,
Hmm?
you have listened to the 2 speeches, one from Governor Natembeya and the other one from Kimani Ichung'wah.
Hmm.
What did Natembeya say that warranted that kind of rage from Kimani? I didn't see.
He just spoke
His
the truth.
statement was very sober, with a lot of respect, with a gentleness. Now here comes Kimani. I don't know what was wrong with him. He almost bursting. So that is not what we expect. We expect these politicians to start behaving themselves. Today they are blaming the young people of being the way they are, yet they don't know that they are the example of the young people. What is the difference between those people who are abusing others and Kimani, who is abusing a senior governor in front of the people, including the children? So let those who are talking of the conduct of the young people be in the front line to be good examples. The way our politicians talk, they don't show any kind of respect, yet they expect to be respected. And in psychology, there is what we call the law of reciprocity. People give you what you give them. They reciprocate. You respect people, they respect you back. You talk nicely to people, they talk nicely to you. You handle people with dignity, they handle you with dignity. And we handle our politicians the same way they handle us. We conduct ourselves the same way they conduct, because they are the mirrors of the society. They should not be complaining. You remember, and right now, William Ruto, whom I supported, and I said I still have a soft heart for him, and I wish he can listen to us, because we mean well. We mean well to him. That William Ruto really criticized the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. They said everything. He didn't kill them. They said everything against the government of Uhuru Kenyatta. Why should it be so painful to them? Ni ile tunasema mkuki kwa nguruwe mtamu, mwanadamu mchungu. Criticism to Uhuru's government was okay. But now to their government, they can't stomach that. It is too much. They can't handle.
They can't handle the criticism. Guys, if you're watching us from other platforms like Mutembei, make sure that you subscribe to Afrique24 and leave a comment. And if you want to join the station, I've posted a link there. So that you can join. Today we are discussing the political tensions in Kenya, and especially the tensions among our political class. They are misbehaving. They are showing us the bad manners. They are really showing us who they really are. Now, in this moment in time is when we now see who your politician is, when they cannot handle the pressure coming from the civil society, the general public demanding the release of those who have been abducted. Here in Africa, we keep on calling for the president to act and make sure that these children are returned to their families. It is just decency, Mr. President. Act as a president, swallow your pride and make sure that you return these children to their families. There is the police, the IIG, Mburu. The IIG is saying that he doesn't know about, these abductions. So should the general public, just as Mutata was saying, should we now arrest these people who are abducting?
They are inviting people for what we call mob justice. That means we don't have a government. Because even if they are not responsible, they should arrest those who are responsible. So now they're inviting us to act as if there is no government. That is why you saw the other day when there is a police officer who threw a tear gas to the deputy president when they were having another meeting. He was arrested by the people and he was beaten up by the people. Is that what they want people to start doing?
I have that clip. And it's a very
alitandikwa na kwambia. So is that what
who are unleashing violence to innocent people? It is a shame. Ulikuwa Nyandarua, polisi wamejaa pale, lakini hawaku wamekuja kuweka amani, walikuja kuchafua nini? Inspector wa polisi anachukua tear gas, anapatia askari mwingine yako na nguo ya raia, anatupia sisi. Nani polisi? Wale wanatakiwa kuweka amani ndio wenye kuvunja nini? Na siku hiyo huyo mtu alishikwa na raia. Kwanza akanyoroshwa vizuri sana. Si ndio? Sasa akapatiwa polisi washitaki yeye. The same night Inspector General Police akasema waachiliwe. This is the only country in the world where police, instead of stopping violence, are the ones who are unleashing violence to innocent people. It is a shame. Is it not a shame? It's a shame, Bwana Douglas Kanja, the Inspector General of Police. The police world over, their work is to keep peace, is to make sure there is no violence, is to deal with violent people. But in Kenya, police are the ones who are unleashing violence to innocent people. And then when people make a citizen arrest, wakamshika wananchi kwa sababu wamepewa kipawa hiyo na sheria, Inspector General amesema aachiliwe aende nyumbani. The other day walituma watu kupiga sisi Limuru na mapanga na chuma watuue. Hizo picha ziko kwa magazeti, kwa mtandao. Mwezi moja umeisha, hakuna mtu ameshikwa. And that is why sasa polisi kitengo imekuwa pale, a special unit outside the command of the Inspector General. Kazi yao ni kushika vijana, kuteka hao nyara. Abductions are being done by police. Police are supposed to protect life and property, not to turn against citizens. Sasa nimeona Inspector General Police ameitwa pale kotini aende aeleze, amekataa kufika. Na hata akifika anasema hajui ati si polisi wanafanya hii kazi. Sisi nauliza kama wewe hujui na ndio Inspector General Police who is supposed to protect the lives of the people of Kenya, then you have no business being in office. Si ndio? Kama bwana Kaja unasema polisi are not the ones doing the abductions, and you don't seem to know who is doing it, and you are not able to stop it, you have no business being the Inspector General of Police.
Wacha tuachie hapo, tuachie
Mzalendo. You know how it is. It's very annoying. It's very annoying. I can tell you today, mimi si polisi, lakini kama leo ningekuwa na nguvu niambiwe shika hawa watu wenye wamekuwa wakifanya abductions, even without a lot of technology, na kuambia hiyo ni kitu ninaweza nikafanya. Hawa vijana karibu wote na abductions zote zenye zimefanywa today in the time we are living in, kila mtu ako na kasimu. Mzalendo ukija kushikwa, kunakuwa na watu kama 10 ama 5 walikuona na wakachukua picha ama wakapiga video. Hizo video media stations, even the main media stations, wako na videos za watu wakishikwa wakikuwa abducted. Kama hawa polisi wako kweli, wako na hakika wanataka kushika hawa watu, picha zao tuko nazo na tunaziona, unataka kuniambia hawana nguvu ya kusema mtu yeyote mwenye anajua so and so and so alipoti na hawa watu waedewe? Wakati Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua the former alikuwa anapigwa na watu na mawe na viti na nini, hawa watu walikuwa wanafanya hivyo, walifanya hivyo on the full glare of cameras. Video ziko kila mahali, hakuna hata mmoja alishikwa. Sasa huyu polisi mwenye alishikwa na wananchi akirusha tear gas wa Deputy President ageuawa, wagesema nini? Sasa wageanza kusema the former Deputy President ameanza kuua mapolisi. So hapo ndipo tunasema serikali ifanye kazi yake na isijarishe mtu ni wa chama gani ama cheo gani, ako upinzani ama ako kwa serikali. Akifuja sheria anakamatwa and the law takes its course. That's how we can build a civilized society, but not to protect me when I'm breaking the law simply because I am on the right side of the political divide. It should not be like that. Inastahili kila mtu Kenya hii, akuwe ni Kimani Ichung'wah, akuwe ni Rigathi, ama akuwe ni Raila Odinga, ama akuwe ni William Ruto, kuna kitu anaogopa, na hicho kitu kinaitwa sheria. Today our politicians, they don't fear the law because they are above the law. Ni wagapi wameshikwa na wakastakiwa na wakafungwa jela? Mzalendo, ni wanasiasa wangapi tumekuwa tukiona wakivunja sheria? How many have been arrested and have been charged in court and jailed? None. That is why they don't care. They can do anything. They can kill you. They can abduct you. They can, conduct themselves in any way. If in a country there is a category of people who don't fear the law, that is not a civilized society. We cannot say we have a government where the leaders are protected by law, but the common mwananchi is not protected by the same law. The leaders can break the law, but there is nothing which can be done. It's very unfortunate.
You know what I always say, if central people under are behind Gachagua, I wish they just had the mentality of Raila's supporters. If they had that mentality of Raila's supporters, Central can bring this country down and the government of William Ruto down so easily. Because first, economically, they are empowered. And secondly, the proximity of Central Province and Nairobi is just here. And this is a...
Wacha nikwambie.
Muko watu 6 million. But all you do...
Wacha nikwambie mzalendo.
Munaenda kwa kanisa, munasema hizi vitu munasema, munangojea. Razasaji wanasema, ngojeni 2027, we will speak on the ballot.
Wacha nikwambie mzalendo. Mzalendo, wacha nikwambie mindset.
No, this country, first of all, wacha tu nimalize. This country understands the language of demonstration. Hakuna kitu ingine. Hii nchi inaelewa, ile lugha wanaelewa kabisa ni demonstration. Hizi vitu zote kina Gachagua wanasema, kina Ichung'wah wanasema, ati wameenda kanisa every Sunday, sijui wanasema sijui Ruto amefanya hii, serikali imefanya hii. People have been abducted. You have the numbers. You can call your people to picket peacefully.
Mzalendo,
they are released.
Mzalendo, wacha nikuambie mindset ya Mkikuyu. Christmas mimi nilikuwa nimesema nitakaa kwa nyumba, sitaenda mahali. I just wanted to relax. But somebody called me to Thika for a Christmas that morning. Nikasema badala ya kushida kwa nyumba, siwacha tu niende. Hii Thika Road ilikuwa imejaa magari kutoka hapa Kahawa mpaka Thika. Ilitumia 3.5 hours mahali pa 20 minutes. Kwa sababu hiyo siku ya Christmas ndivyo karibu Wakikuyu wote wanaenda Christmas that morning, na ili jioni warudi kwa kazi zao. Hiyo ndio niliona.
Ili jioni warudi kwa kazi zao. Na ni karibu tu hapa.
Sasa nikaambia mtu, sijaiona jam kiasi, akaniambia ndivyo Wakikuyu wanaenda nyumbani. So mindset ya Mkikuyu hapendi demonstration kabisa, kwa sababu ya biashara yake na kashiringi yake ile amepoteza hiyo siku. Kama Christmas tunaenda hiyo asubuhi, ndio turudi jioni. Unaona, tukipoteza siku mzima tukienda kupigania Gachagua. Ni uongo.
Mimi nakwambia kuko na festival inaendelea for 1 week. Watu wanasherehekea.
Tunaenda kupigania nani? Hata mimi, hata by the way ninapenda Gachagua sana. Lakini demonstration. Niende demonstration kwa sababu Gachagua amekuwa impeached. Hii ni uongo. Nienda huko nikagogwe na mawe. Nienda huko sitaenda biashara. Waacha kama atasimama kama koti tunakojea
kwa sababu ya biashara.
Hapana. Apoteze hiyo 500 ya hiyo siku.
Ufunge duka uende kwa barabara useme Gachagua amesema leo hakuna kazi.
Hata yule mama anauza mandizi pale kwa kibada, hataki hiyo siku ati afuge aende demonstration. Na kuambia ukweli, wale watu wanafurahia demonstrations ni hawkers, kwa sababu wamepata siku ya kuuzia watu na watu wenye hawako na kazi.
Atauza saa ngapi na kuna demonstration?
Hiyo wakati huo kahawa imeiva. Hiyo ndio time yenye kahawa huwa imeiva. So wakati demonstrations kama zitafanyika Central, ujue ni watu wamelipwa. It is always transactional. It is ukiona watu na mabango hivi. Si mimi ni wa Central na ninafuata siasa sana, ninapenda siasa sana. Ukiona Mkikuyu ametokea demonstration huku,
hata
amelipwa.
huko hawezi hata demonstrate na siku moja bwana.
It is always a business. Ukiona grupu ya watu imetokea na mabango sijui imeandikwa Gachagua what sijui ingine imeandikwa nani, hujue huyo mtu amelipa mshahara ya hiyo siku.
Na imagine
that is the mind of a Kikuyu.
Na imagine Gachagua angekuwa ni Mjaluo. Why?
That is why I had somebody
huko Nyeri mali anatoka kwanza akunge pitika.
I had somebody in the show asking me, you people, you can't protect one of you. Unajiuliza, how? It is one of us. Tuta protect kwa debe. Hiyo siku tutaenda to vote. Maana nitaenda mapema sana. Ni vote 5 by 6. Nimetoka, nimeenda kwa kazi zangu. That is how you operate.
Hata kura kibiwa, hiyo ni kesi baadaye.
That's not our business. And I wish, anyway, it's a bad thing because it can allow the government to do anything, but on the other side, it is also a good thing because
economically it is good. You know? But again, when we are picketing, for good governance and that business that you are doing to flourish. You don't picket for nothing. You don't picket for.
But you know those picketing and those demonstrations.
You picket for a cause. You know.
No, those picketing.
Now
those demonstrations.
Mburu, you would not. They are victims and family members of the Kikuyu community who have been abducted. This family cannot go out in the streets and demonstrate and demand for the release of their children, joined by their neighbors who knew the children.
Very few who can do that.
It's a wrong thing to do.
It's not a wrong thing. It's a good thing to do, and but we are good in maybe talking on the media, because I'll just talk a few minutes and then I'll go. But tell them now we need to do a serious demonstration. Kikuyus don't have time for that. In fact, they think of watafanya demonstration hiyo siku, wakuje wavuje kibada yangu ya madizi ama ya embe. Hiyo siku sitauza supu, watakuja wavuje duka yangu. You know, because that is our mindset and that's how we see things. Tunafikirianga pesa dakika yote. Nasikia niliambiwa hii ndio siku yenye Wakikuyu wanaenda sikukuu. Tunataka waende sikukuu asubuhi mapema, waende Gishagi na jioni warudi. That is why hatunaga hata time ya ranger. We don't have time kuenda tushite na huko tukiogelea siku 3 siku 5. If you bwana, unasikia Mkikuyu anasema anapeleka mke wake out. Anamwambia leo tunaenda road show. Kumbe ni bao anapeleka, ni bao ameitishwa bahari na siku tutaka kwetu.
Ati bao anampeleka out, ameingiza kwa road.
Ati tunaenda out leo, kumbe kuna bahari ameitishwa bao. Ama ameitishwa vitu fulani ndizo wanaenda akideliver.
Uzuri wa hiyo, it has created a culture that is very, very vibrant, and it created a culture that empowers the Kikuyu community economically.
And you unasikia, that is why you hear the other community saying that Kikuyus are not romantic. Kikuyu men are not romantic. Because every time anafikiria kaploti nitanunua bahari, sijui kashamba, nataka kujenga kanyumba, sijui lini. Wakati unamwambia sijui wakati unamwambia sijui mwende out mtumie 30,000 and 50,000. Anafanya hiyo hesabu, anaona hiyo nitakuwa nimenunua sijui nini na nini.
Unaona ukienda nilienda mahali ingine. Inaitwa Miuru Bay.
Ndivyo mnatunyang'anya mabibi. Ndivyo unaona siku hizi mnatunyang'anya wasichana, mnatunyang'anya mabibi sababu
tunawanyang'anya mabibi now. You know why wacha nikwambie why Luo men
You're
are
very
going.
good in spending.
No, we are good in spending, but you see the reason why Luo men are not even marrying other Luo women is one, they are not working. These are people who are not very, very aggressive in terms of business and all that. Ni watu waku generally ni watu wanapenda the luxury, comfort, you know, we live in a comfortable house, we live comfortably,
which is okay. Which I think also it will somehow,
you know, listen, let me just finish. The good part of it, everybody wants to live comfortably, but you have to earn it. You have to work hard to live comfortably. It's not that when you don't have money is when you want to live in luxury. You understand? That is the irony. Now, somebody would tell you that I have a Kikuyu wife, nikimpatia 20,000, I'm sure when I come back, she will have 100,000. Ama 40. Lakini hao wetu umpatie 20, utampata amedecorate nyumba. Ameenda.
It is also a culture, kwa sababu nilikuja kujua mimi mzalendo, Mungu amenisaidia, nimekaa na watu maskini sana na nimekaa na watu matajiri sana in the same house, na conclusion yangu ni kama ile ya King Solomon, vanity of vanity, all is vanity. Utakuta ya kwamba furaha ya Mjaruo itakuwa ni nyingi kuliko furaha ya Mkikuyu, kwa sababu yeye anatosheka haraka na chenye ako nacho. Kwa hivyo atakuwa anafurahia life, ako na time ya kuenda out, akipata pesa atadrive gari mzuri, atanunua TV kubwa. Life yake hata kama haishi kwa nyumba kubwa, hata wewe ukiingia kwa hiyo nyumba unasikia yenyewe nilikuwa mahali, nilikuwa Lakini sasa sisi utakuta tuko na stress nyingi, maana ninataka nitajirike nikuwe kama fulani wa fulani. Sipumziki maana ninataka nijenge sijui nyumba ya ghorofa gapi, na ni sawa. Na mwisho ya hayo yote sisi wote ni moja. So if I have to tell our people this, it is good to work hard as we do, but let us not deny ourselves living a happy life. Hata kama utatafuta, kwa hivyo tu unatafuta kuwa na mpango wa vile pia utapata time ya kupumzika, maana utakuta, na hiyo ni kufikiria kwangu, shida nyingi za pressure, high blood pressure utazikuta Central, kwa sababu kila wakati mtu hata usigizi hapati akiwaza pesa. Money is not everything. Today I can tell you mzalendo, and I have said this story a long time, many times here, that we had a very serious case for over 35 years. And in this case, we had been hiring Kikuyu lawyers. And every time we get a lawyer, he would be bought, because we were casing with a very rich guy. Until when somebody advised us that, can you try to get a lawyer from another tribe? Because these Kikuyus are always bought. Until we get a rule. Do you know, they tried to bribe that guy, he refused, until we won the case. So, sisi kwa integrity ati siwezi chukua pesa kwa sababu niko na client wangu, I am telling you, nitachukua. Sisemi mimi, lakini nasema hiyo ndio mindset. Wewe umenilipa 50,000, mzalendo amesema nitakupatia double, uharibu kesi yake. Kila wakati tunafikiria kuhusu pesa, mpaka imefika mahali hakuna integrity. Competition kwetu imekuwa nyingi sana, ati ya kwamba mzalendo, I know what I have information. that I can give you to better your life, but I can't. Naweza kuwa na biashara tunaweza fanya na wewe, lakini kwa sababu I want to be ahead of you, siwezi nikakuambia. Competition is too much in Central Kenya or in Kikuyu's mindset, which I feel is not healthy.
No. Competition brings the best out of us.
It is too much. It is the best, but it has now gone beyond. And that is why I'm saying everything should have some balance. Let us try to balance.
You know what I always say, and this has always been my mantra, that every animal has got a different walking style, and I use the duck. The duck has got, it's a bird, but it has got a different walking style from the hen or the chicken. So you will find that even us in our daily life, although the world is moving too fast for each and every human being, rather animals in this world, but we all have got our challenges. We cannot run as fast as the cheetah or the leopard. So we have to go at our own pace. You cannot run in Mburu's pace, although you might want what Mburu has or what Mzalendo has. But at the end of it, every luxury that comes in this world, especially the ones people who work hard for it, there is always a price to pay. So the price to pay is that Mburu, your community has sacrificed, or you sacrifice the luxuries that comes with the price. So there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that is wrong with that is that after acquiring so much wealth, then there reaches a time then you need now to enjoy your life or give back to society. So every time when you pray for God to give you enough wealth such that you respect people who are unwealthy, and secondly, you uplift those who don't have.
Yes.
Don't give me enough. You don't give me so much wealth so that I be like our Kenyan politicians. Yeah, so that I disrespect everybody that I come across. Give me wealth so that I can make other people also comfortable the way I am. But give me enough to share with others. You understand? So apart from that, I hope Kikuyus are sharing their wealth in the society. Those who are wealthy are sharing their wealth. Those who are wealthy are educating those who are not wealthy. So that is the only way we can create that balance. And just as you heard, Kenya is a capitalistic economy where we have got very few rich people controlling almost everything. And even in your village where you come from, you find that there is somebody who is richer than almost everybody in the entire village. Yeah. So and those are the dynamics of society. And so, sometimes you might be running so fast you want to live like your neighbor in Central, but huyu neighbor wako pengine ni mwizi, amepora bank mahali, anaiba pesa ya CDF, amefanya nini? So walk your own race. Hizi vidole,
Mzalendo, in this life I have lived with people who are very good and they wish you well. And I have also lived with people who are very jealous, and people who have the competition spirit, that they always want to be the ones who are ahead of you, that they can do anything to be ahead of you, that they can withhold the information which they are supposed to share with you to help you, but they can't because they don't want you to be like them. That is what I'm saying. as much as it is good to work very hard, it is good to be wealthy, but let us be very careful. Maana nakuambia saa hii Central Kenya na watu wetu na ninawapenda kabisa. Ni watu wachache sana watakuwa na information ya kukusaidia, wakuambia my brother come, I hold your head and I show you the way and what I do so that you can be also successful. Utakuta even at a family level, watu wanatakaga kuinamiwa na hawa other siblings. Utakuta hawataki kuwasaidia wasikue kama wao. That is what I'm saying. It's okay, though this was not the topic, but I'm also trying, let us always remain, hata tukitafuta pesa, to remain tukiwa watu ambao wako na utu. That is the point. Ya kwamba nikiona mzalendo unabarikiwa, ninafurahia. Mimi vyenye nimeumbwa, I like it when I see other people succeed. And I used to think that everybody is like me. There was a time I was very innocent. Mimi nikijua kitu itakusaidia, nitakuambia. Nikijua venye naweza fanya, naweza kushika mkono. Until nikakuja kurealize, oh, so everybody is not like me. Not everybody who is happy when you are succeeding. So that is what I wanted to tell our people, Kenyan people. The reason why you see people like the Indians succeed very much. They're also business-minded, but they support each other. They even work as teams. Watafungua biashara wakiwa biashara ya familia. Na wote hakuna mwenye akona greediness, ulafi. Sisi hatutaki, I can't. It's very hard even for a brother to work with a brother, a sister to work with a sister. We can't even form a company together. Why? Because we are always competing. We don't think that when we are together, we can do greater things. Me, I see things differently. I have tried to work with people, and I have come to realize that people don't see the things the same way I see things. Yes.
Kenya, happy new year bana. Tangu nikuone bana, hizi nywele zimekuwa kubwa zaidi. Where are you heading with this hair? Hii nywele itakushinda.
Happy new year Jeff Mburu, happy new year mzalendo. Mimi nimekuja tu kuwasalimia.
Umefanya poa.
Nzuri bana. How are things out there? How is the politics out there?
The politics is politicking. I don't know. I heard you guys were talking about Nani Natembea. I didn't hear what did Nani alisema nini Ichungwa. I didn't hear the Ichungwa part.
Oh my God. I can play you what
please, I heard everyone was complaining about he attacked Natembea. I don't know exactly what he said. I just heard the new part. Natembea spoke well. Yeah.
Alisema hivi.
Governor Natembea, nikuambie leo mchana dhahiri, siasa mnazofanya za kugawa watu kwa misingi ya ukabila, mambo ya uchochezi, hizo siasa zimekoma na hautafaulu nazo. Yule aliyekuwa kiongozi wako wa siasa za ukabila, aliyekuwa naibu wa rais, huyo ndiye mwenye kupanga mambo ya abductions ili awekelee huyu William Ruto. Tunawajua, tunawaona mchana, tutawatangaza mchana hadharani. Na usifikirie unaweza kutuuzia uoga hapa sisi. Wakati mliua watu mkaweka River Yala, you are the regional commissioner in charge of abductions and murdering Kenyans. Wewe mwenyewe, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. And I say again, shame on you, Governor. You cannot claim abductions when you are the key abductor and murderer of Kenyans under the previous regime. Na mzee Atwoli ananiambia alikupea pesa ukuwe governor. Wewe ndio ulifurusha watu Mau, ukiua mafamilia. Tunakujua, wachana na sisi bana. Kwa haya mengi, poleni sana. Mnisamehe kidogo sababu saa ingine huko kwetu tunasemaga mshale ya usiku hurudishwa usiku. Ukileta siasa kwa hafla ya mazishi tutakujibu hapa hapa. kwenda katafute huyo mtu tulifurusha, mfanye siasa ya kugawa watu, siasa ya uchochezi, lakini mtafute nchi nyingine. Not this country. We are together as one people, one nation, under one flag, under one president, one speaker, and we are all united as the people of Kenya. We will not allow you to divide the people along ethnicity, on incitement, because you think ati wewe ni governor unakuja kujipiga governor kitu gani? Achana na sisi wewe. Akome asikome. Akome asikome. Wachochezi wakome wasikome. Wakome wasikome. Wamuache Ruto wasimuache. Na uheshimu huyu speaker wewe governor. Nimekuona mara mingi ati kila mazishi unaenda kutukana Wetangula. And you have no shame to even stand here and claim, oh, I have friends in this family. Fred is my friend. Tim Wanyonyi is my friend. If Tim Wanyonyi is your friend, Speaker Wetangula is a brother to Tim Wanyonyi. If Fred is your friend, Speaker Wetangula is a brother. Please respect people and we will respect you back.
Na mimi hata ningekuwa wapi leo, ingekuwa lazima nifike niomboleze na wao ndugu zangu pamoja na Tim. Tim in 2022 he was my preferred governor in Nairobi. Lakini tukaenda hivi tu tukapangwa tukapawa candidate mwingine ambaye hajui mbele wala nyuma. Lakini namtakia mema Mheshimiwa Rais. Mimi sitaka kusema sana. Mimi nimesikia watu wameongea hapa. Ubaya siku hizi mimi niko na boss hapa. Sasa paka nipime nini? Maneno. Lakini tutarudi tukiwa peke yetu. Siku hiyo ndo utajua haujui. Ukituletea noma, tunakurudishia noma. Ukileta mbaya, Mungu awabariki, asanteni.
The only thing that I want to plead with those who are criticizing is let us be factual. Let us be honest. If we are complaining about the bad economy, that things are difficult, that life is difficult, why is life difficult? Two reasons. Number one, the public debt. Number two, the pending bills. Are you telling us that this public debt were incurred when Ruto was the president? Are you telling us that the pending bills amounting to almost 700 billion were incurred when Ruto was the president? Why have you forgotten how we got to where we are? Why are you blaming Ruto for fixing a problem that was created? Today, Your Excellency, I was speaking to one of my friends who is coming from Bungoma. He is going back to Nairobi, and he has to drive from Bungoma through Kakamega to Kisumu, through Narok, because Nairobi-Nakuru highway is impossible. But we borrowed money to do roads up to some villages. Some people take minutes to reach their villages, and an important road as Nairobi-Nakuru highway, no one saw the need to make it dual carriageway so that we can also reach our homes in good time. Which was of more economic value? The SGR, we borrowed money to build the SGR, and it is a perfect idea, it is good. But did it have to terminate at Naivasha? That SGR should reach Malava as it was intended to. We have to look for how to stabilize this economy to make sure that what should have been done was done. Mistakes were committed. They cannot be corrected in a day. Your Excellency, I want to end by saying, as I committed when I was sworn in, I will help you steady this economy. We will work hand in hand, make life better for Kenyans. Let other regions also benefit from the fruits of their taxes. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
Now you see what these guys are selling now. Kenya Rebel, you've seen the kind of tone. These guys are selling a narrative that we are in these problems because of Uhuru's government or because of the Kikuyu. That is what is being sold.
Yeah. I don't think he said Kikuyu, but he was blaming Uhuru Kenyatta, basically. Natembeya, from his speech, I didn't see anything wrong with what he said. I don't think there was anything tribalistic that he said to warrant Ichung'wa's reply. In fact, what I've noticed with all these government-affiliated politicians or who are working for the government, every time they face any criticism from a public figure, they try to make it as if those people who are criticizing them are tribalists. You remember Murkomen a few weeks ago when he was coming and saying anyone that is criticizing Ruto is a tribalist. Okay? So this seems to be like the memo that they received, that anyone, any public figure, Now you can say that Gachagua is a tribalist or whatever, he cares about Watu wa Mlima and that's all he cares about. But even if he cares about Watu wa Mlima, if he points out something that is there, that is truthful, that everyone can see, that does not make him a tribalist, Saying you love the people of Nyanza, that's not being tribalistic. That's just people where you come from. You are proud of where you come from. You are looking out for the interest of where you come from. Even though with Gachagua, he was a deputy president. But I'm just saying, all these people, even Mbadi said it in a very slick way when he said, it is time for other parts of the country to enjoy the benefits of the taxpayers' money, because, he's insinuating that there's only some part of Kenya which are aligned to maybe Central or Rift Valley, whatever the case is, who have enjoyed good roads and all this infrastructure, and other places have been ignored. And you can see this theme. Even Opiyo Wandayi was saying the same thing. Kaloma says that every day. Oguda, Gabriel Oguda. All these government-affiliated politicians, especially the newly found bromance between the ODM faction of Azimio with the president, they are really pushing this narrative that everyone who criticizes the president, they are jealous because now they are in government. And it's a way of something that they are actually accusing Natembeya of doing, divide and rule. And like I say, they're trying to create this Mount Kenya versus Nyanza province or other places. And it's done to divide the votes. Now, Mbadi was not even being factual. And all of you can say, geez, okay, something fair. Anyway, Mbadi was not being factual when he was talking about SGR and so forth. Yes, the corruption started during Uhuru years. Even before Uhuru years, started with Moi, Kenyatta won, okay? But also, even within this government, corruption has continued. They've been borrowing, and we see very little of it. The corruption cases are just skyrocketing, okay? So, again, like I say, this is just theatrics. And the unfortunate thing, the most unfortunate thing is that they're doing all this in someone's funeral where they should be eulogizing about the person who died. About politics.
Imagine, Mbadi did not even mourn. He went straight to support the government. He didn't even know what brought him there. He just went straight on, it's like a loyalty pledge. What I can call it is that these guys have been doing a loyalty pledge to the president and not to the people of Kenya. When you see Joe speaking, it is a loyalty pledge to the president and not to the office that he's serving. Every speaker, Ichung'wa, they are trying to show, we are behind you, Mr. President. Na hakuna mali tunaenda. We will support you with all that we have. Yeah, so every other minister, you see the lineup that was in that funeral was every other cabinet secretary was able to attend that was not attending because of the funeral. They were attending because the president was there.
It will be very interesting. What I'm waiting for is, I think it's February 12th or something, or the third week of February, when the AU voting will take place. If Raila loses that election, the AU seat, I want to see how the politics then will be when he comes back to Kenya, because Ruto will have to find something to make him busy, to keep him busy, and his minions, the ones like Mbadi and Joho, I don't know if they will keep on singing praises, because these guys, Raila, if in case Raila comes back and, you know, because Raila, when he comes back, he'll want to be the opposition. He'll want to be in the position. There are two things that will happen if Raila comes back, if he fails to go to the AUC. Number one, it's either they will continue with the NADCO thing that we're trying to implement, which the next step was to change the constitution to create these extra positions like the official opposition and I don't know, cabinet, I don't know what. Okay, which that was the next step. If so, that means they will take people to a referendum in order to change the constitution. Or Raila, if he comes back, he will have to disassociate himself with Ruto to maintain his position as the main guy in the opposition. Because remember, Raila has always maintained his position as the main person in the opposition since the Moi days, since Wakina Naniwa, especially, let me just say, since Kibaki Ninio. That's why you see when Gen Z were taking over that place by going to Maandamano and doing things that Raila only is known to be doing. Raila quickly came back and reasserted himself by supporting the president. Even in 2017, when NRM were taking over the ODM side, when was it ODM or NASA or whatever, when they were almost removing Kenyatta, Raila Odinga ran to Uhuru Kenyatta and they conspired to get rid of Miguna because they knew Miguna NRM Kenya were becoming a threat, the real opposition. Because remember, that day when they went to swear in Raila Odinga, that morning Miguna was in NTV and he said, Raila, whether he likes it or not, he will be sworn in because that's what the people are want him to do. So he has no choice. So that's what I'm saying. Two things will happen. He'll either have to go ahead with that NADCO and change the constitution to create a position for him as the prime minister or whatever the case is, or he will fall out with Ruto in order to reassert himself as the head of the opposition. Then he will be on the ballot 2027. And that's when we shall see the Mbadi and Joho and everybody else changing tune, and we'll have another cabinet change. So yeah.
Okay, let me have Mburu come in. I've got something to add on what you just said. Yeah, Mburu.
Yes, please.
Now, you've heard what Kenya Rebel has said about Raila's AU bids. One thing, that two things might happen. He might lose or he might win. But in case he loses the bid for AU, Kenya Rebel is saying that he might come in and continue with the NADCO talks, which I think will benefit the former president Uhuru Kenyatta, and again, one Raila Odinga, who will be retiring from politics. Raila has said that he's retiring from politics. I don't think he's retiring. And you got it spot on, Kenya Rebel. What I think for me is Raila might even run for governor. He might create a position like run for governor in order to be relevant. So I am telling you, if everything fails, Ruto will support the NADCO report. Definitely will support the NADCO report because Ruto is right now very unpopular as a president. He's not very, very popular as a president.
Zanendo, very quickly, not to cut you off, sorry. The NADCO report, they already agreed upon. It has been signed both by Ruto and Raila. So there's already supported it. They've signed it. Remember when Kalonzo took it to them, and the Chungwa took it to Raila at Capitol Hill and took it to Raila to Uhuru. They've already signed that NADCO.
Yeah, they've already signed it, but it has not become law. It has to go through a referendum.
No, listen. Do you know the IBC amendment bill was part of the NADCO recommendations?
Yeah, that one was signed. You mean all the positions they are creating in the NADCO report will not go through the referendum? That is altering the constitution.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is this. I think you misunderstood what I'm saying. I'm saying this. There were 8 recommendations. One has been implemented, which was the IBC amendment bill, but the courts have also shot that down, even though it's law right now. The next step was supposed to be the changing of the constitution to create these positions for Raila, Uhuru, and whoever the case is. But they stopped that because Raila is going to AU and Joho and the gang joined the cabinet, the government, okay? So what I'm saying is this. In case Raila misses the AUC, he will come back and they will continue implementing the 8 recommendations that are in the NADCO report, which they are still trying to implementing. That's what I mean. But again, for Raila to run for governor, that is governorship, gubernatorial seat is too small for Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is...
Now, Mburu, you've heard what Kenya Rebel is saying. I know you've got an opinion about this whole issue.
And I agree with him to a larger extent. And I also agree with him that Raila Odinga is very big. He's bigger than any other position, apart from either presidency or the opposition leader on the other side. And he has the most organized party, the ODM. And I know he's also doing the calculations.
Hey, did you use the word organized?
Organized, very organized.
ODM.
I'm telling you the truth. We have had parties.
I don't know what you're saying. Did you say the party is organized?
No, the ODM party is organized than any other party in Kenya. You know, when you are doing a comparison, you compare with relevant others. Mzalendo, I want you to tell me which other party is as organized as ODM. Parties have come and parties have gone.
Wiper is organized.
But that's a miniature party.
No, you asked me for an example. Wiper is organized.
You have to compare ODM with, when I talk of relevant others,
UDA is even.
Oh my God, there is no UDA, it's almost finished. It was formed and died almost like unajua ile story inaitwa nani?
Don't have UDA anymore. What happened to UDA? Do you have a party called UDA?
UDA ni kama ile story ya Simon Makonde.
Unakumbuka tukisupport UDA? Unakumbuka?
I even have Hasra movement group. Hata huyo siongei niko. Nilijamaza. What are you talking? When you want to talk about UDA, ask me about it.
A few months ago, I can rewind for you what you were saying about UDA. Passionately, you could talk hours and hours about Ruto being a good president.
We achieved the objective of rising to presidency, but beyond that, we are lost. We are in the forest. Now, I wanted to say this. I don't know how long the marriage between William Ruto and Raila Odinga will last, because I have done some research, I have done some analysis here and there. I don't see Raila Odinga becoming the AU chair. And William Ruto government is banking on him becoming the AU chair so that he can leave the politics, the national politics. That will not happen. What will happen when he comes back? It will be very hard for him to work with William Ruto beyond 2027, because most of the followers of Raila Odinga, especially the leaders, will not follow Ruto. You have already seen the fallout. Someone like Babu Owino is not with them. And very soon, others will jump out when Raila will not clinch the position of AU chair. So that is why I said Ruto is playing the game of Patapotea. He did a miscalculation by burning one bridge. For me, I keep telling him today, he has already lost his backyard, the strongest backyard, which was Central Kenya. He was assured of around 85% votes. But today, I'm not very sure if he is to run for presidency today, he can even get 20%. But he went to a place where he is not assured of the support. And if anybody want to disorganize the government of William Ruto, this is the right time when he doesn't have the support. Can you imagine if Raila Odinga today withdraws his support from William Ruto government? Kalonzo is not with him. Gachagua is not with him. I can tell you for sure, the president is naked. And he is aware of that. That is why, after realizing that he is naked, he is now trying to persuade the Mount Kenya to go back to him, of which I have to tell him here, it is very late. He has tried to take Kabogo. Kabogo is a political reject in Kiambu County. He did not succeed as a governor. He has tried to take Mutahi Kagwe. Mutahi Kagwe cannot outshine Gachagua in Nyeri. He has tried to take, I think, the former governor of Murang'a, Mwangi wa Iria. He has no influence. And there is a way in which the Central Kenya people operate. They don't place two people at the same time. They follow one person. So it doesn't matter whom he is going to persuade to be in the government. He has already lost the support of Central Kenya. Right now, as you have said clearly, Muzalendo, William Ruto is very, very unpopular amongst Kenyans. And not just amongst Kenyans, amongst those who supported him. And I don't see him going beyond 2027. Even if it happens, maybe a miracle will happen. I don't know. Unless he decides to leak the votes, I don't know how he's going to do that, or he refuses to hand over power. And you know what is likely to happen if he will do that. So I don't see Raila supporting Ruto beyond 2027. It will be very hard. I don't know what you think.
Wow. Now, you don't see Raila supporting Ruto beyond 2027. I think Raila has got no choice at this particular moment. Ruto will likely, if UDA is dead, they will come with a new formation. The only thing that they're doing technically that most people are not watching is that Raila will not close up shop in ODM to join another political outfit. They will still have the ODM party as a bargaining chip, so that in case they don't win the presidency, they still have majority in a minority in parliament. So ODM right now and Raila's party are ni kama fisi, wanaweka mguu pande hii na ingine pande hii, wajali pale nyama itatokea, hiyo ni sawa tu. So they are both in the opposition and at the same time supporting the government. If you've heard the rhetorics of people like Junet Mohammed, they are telling you clearly that they are supporting each and every policy of the government. And the policy of the UDA aligns very well with what is in ODM. They have said it in public. But are they going to leave the minority seat? No, they have refused to leave the minority, to let go the minority seat. Yeah, to anybody who is going to check Ruto's government. They have refused to do that. So we are going to see a lot of politics, but more so the politics will be revolving around now the new entity, the Gen Z. I don't know, Kenya Rebel, what you see as Mutata's entry into the politics. Will it tilt the scale.
No, Mtata is a con man. That is another con man.
For me, I'm saying.
Oh my God! Where did you get that from?
For me, I'm saying.
No. Wait. Let this guy tell me why.
Let Mburu finish his sentence first. He has something. He has
For
an
me,
important point. Go ahead, Mburu.
I will use a kind word to him, and I will say that Omotata is still a political baby because he cannot compete with heavyweights like William Ruto, Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka. There are people he can't compete with. He has a long way to go. He can become a good president because he has been so consistent fighting for the rights of Kenyans. He has been a very strong activist. Yeah, it's okay. But in Kenya, I don't see Omotata becoming a president. Even Murara, they have a long way to go. They are good. They have the passion. They have maybe what it takes even to become the president. But where we are as a nation, we still have a long way to go in order to open space for such people or to be accepted by the people. It's okay to have those good morals. It's okay to have the passion they have. It's okay to feel the way they feel about corruption. It's okay to fight for Kenyans, but it's very hard for Kenyans to leave one of their own, as they call it, to leave their political fathers and go to them. Even the Gen Zs, you see the way they were fighting the government the other day. Where are they today? They just went silent after Baba and Ruto joined together. So who was calling the shot? So you see, they don't even have strong principles. We had somebody like this guy who was, people thought he was the leader of Gen Zs. Nowadays, he is hanging around with Ruto. The other day, we see him with Raila Odinga. It's not where he belongs. Kasamuel, you see?
Kasamuel is in ODM, if you didn't know. He's a member of ODM.
Those are confused elements. We thought they are people of principles. They have no principles. They have no direction. So that's why I'm saying Kenya's politics is very serious. There is no any other country in the world with serious politics like Kenya. So if you want to change, bring change in Kenya, you want to become a president, you must also be very serious. You must also have very serious principles, which I don't see in these people.
I doubt that because you, Mburu, for instance, you've already inherited a father after dropping Ruto very, very fast, and now you are supporting Gachagua. So
I'm not. You might think I'm supporting.
No,
Let me tell you,
but, you know, people can drop you in Kenya like hot potato very, very fast. And
let me tell you, Mzalendo, I am one of those very independent-minded people. I don't just follow people. Gachagua, I am saying the handling by his boss was wrong. It was inhuman. It was so humiliating. By saying that does not mean that I support Gachagua. I am yet to decide. But if only Kenyans can decide to pick somebody, someone of integrity, not even Gachagua, not those old guards, I think, I don't know, when we shall drop our tribal affiliations, our regions affiliations, we start now thinking
I wanted to ask you guys one thing, because it keeps on coming and it keeps on coming and I forget. Now, what is the age for the presidency? There is no age limit to become the president of Kenya, but there's an age bracket to. Was that law really changed, or is it still the same? Do you have any idea? Like
there is no age limit in Kenya.
No, I think you have to be 35 or something.
You
You
have
see
to be
that,
that
yeah,
fine.
that issue of 35, is it there in law? You know, the issue Kenya Rebel is
I
not
think
there
so.
in law.
I think,
I think
so.
so.
No, it's not.
It's
I've
not.
looked for
It
this
should
thing
be.
in anywhere in
Let
the
me check.
constitution.
Yeah, please check.
Let me
Just
check as
Mulu.
you continue talking. Let me check.
Yeah, I have
right
checked
now.
this thing, and we are in another conversation where, you know, Morara is 29 years old, and by the time we are reaching, we are going to the election, he will be locked out because of age. If
Does Morara have a degree, 4-year degree? Because I heard he dropped out of, was it law school or college?
I always say those could be speculations.
Morara, I don't think is serious to be. Morara, we all know now, is a Ruto's he works for Ruto.
Why do you say that? You know, I've seen people saying that Morara is a Ruto project. How did you come to that conclusion?
To me, what gave it away was after he went to what was that meeting happening when there was this public participation, and he came out and was pretending that he was hit with chairs, he was injured, he had to go to the hospital.
No, yeah, the public participation, he was hit by chairs. We saw it on TV. What do you mean?
Listen, Zalendo.
Huh?
When he was asked, you said you went to the hospital. What happened to you? What took you to the hospital? Did you have broken ribs, broken back?
No, you don't have broken ribs or broken.
But you see,
nothing you saw it, Abana. That's not a reason.
That thing was serious. That guy was beaten.
He was hit. I mean, why are you saying he was not hit?
He
was
hit by chairs at Bomas.
And also, we can't say that he's a project of the president. Yet there is nothing we can refer to show Kenyans that surely what we are saying is factual. So we have to substantiate whenever we make any allegation. Because
okay, number one.
So far, I think Morara has been so consistent. You know, the only thing I know about him, he doesn't have money for campaign, and that will be
his undoing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's undoing for him.
Okay.
It will not work
Here's
very
the
well
question.
for him.
Meanwhile, answer this. Even Mukambu is asking. This channel was a strong supporter of Kasongo in 2022, including 3 of you there. What happened?
Who, me?
Let me answer that. First of all,
let Kenya Rebel say something.
Mukambu, I don't know if when he started listening to me, I've never endorsed Ruto in my life. I've never supported him for presidency. I've always called out that he's just as corrupt. So when you say I supported Ruto, no. The problem is when Raila came out and went to the courts, when he was saying that he won the election, I was saying that Ruto, based on the evidence, verifiable evidence that we have, material evidence, there's nowhere we can say that Raila won. That's the only thing.
He did not.
Yes, that's the problem with a lot of listeners, because some of them, if you tell them that, they misconstrue that to mean that you're supporting Ruto. And I said Ruto won fair and square. There's no evidence that Raila won that 2022 election. So for him to say that I'm supporting Ninio, do you have to have injury in order to prove an assault? Well, he's the one who told us that he was injured, actually. He was the one who said it. If you say that you are injured, like if I came here and tell you that, listen, I was hit with metal chairs, I had broken back, broken ribs, broken whatever, and we don't see any marks, you didn't even specify which hospital you went to, the doctor, and you were asked these questions because these are pertinent questions. He went to Spice FM and he was being asked this question, and he just keep on dancing around the answers. Oh, God is on the throne. Do you need just a bunch of nonsense? And you can see, first of all, his vehicle is said to have been traced back to, I think it was Gachagua or somebody, who was bought his car, say it's one of his cars or whatever the case is, you can see that, well, you saw the picture when he was campaigning for, apparently he was in the campaign of Ruto, when Ruto was running in 2022. So, and you can see he's more fascinated with the whole idea of being a celebrity than being a serious candidate. If you look at him, he's very mature. When people ask him questions, and again, when they were asking him about the money, to this day, he cannot tell you where his money went. He said he will return the money, he did not. So those are the things that show you that this guy is a con man, another con job by the state, the NIS being used to distract people. Then let's get to Marani Omtata, who is the newest discovered con man. Omtata was being exposed last week by what's his name? This guy that exposed Adani. I forgot his name. He mentioned that he tried to call Omtata to help him, get this story out about Adani. And Omtata ignored him, didn't pick up his phone or nothing like that. So he exposed that and showed there was some missed calls. Then people started asking questions. Gaito, Francis Gaito, Miguna, they started asking, Morara, you are the last person who met Kibet. Can you tell us how many people came there to pick up Kibet in the office, in your office? Where was he arrested? You know, what happened? You know, because this guy has been evading arrest all his life. He knew there were people.
No, it was Omtata's office.
Yes.
Not Morara.
Sorry, yeah. Omtata's office. So he couldn't answer that, and he didn't even respond for 48 hours when people are asking this. Okay, and Omtata is a public figure. Okay, he should have come out and say, listen, this guy came here, he greeted me and he left. I don't know what happened after that. Okay, he even didn't say that. 48 hours after that, he comes out, tells us, pretends that now he feels sorry for Kibet, which he shall go to Maandamano. And remember, when people are asking these questions, there was growing, everyone was coming out questioning Omtata. Another good question. He said he's running for president. Apparently, this man does not hold a 4-year degree, which is a requirement to run in order to run for president. Why are you telling us that you're running in 2027 if you know you're not qualified, you don't have a 4-year degree? And guess who he has in his as part of his presidential exploratory committee? Hanifa, a non-NIS agent who everyone is saying he should disassociate himself with. Okay, and who else was going to
did you say Hanifa?
Yes, Hanifa.
Hanifa does not support Morara.
No, not Morara, Omtata.
Oh yeah. You're confusing between Morara.
No, I'm talking about Omtata. I'm not. Morara is already known conman. He's a lost cause. Let's not worry about it.
So Hanifa is also NIS.
Yes, Hanifa. Remember, listen, Boniface Mwangi. Always you watch my go to my channel. I've explained all that stuff. There's one, if you remember, during the Maandamano Gen Z, they drove themselves to the DCI, went to the DCI, spent 3 hours, came out, had a press conference, and Boniface was giving a whole speech pretending to be very upset about the arrest. Hanifa was giggling on the background as if it was funny. Next time Boniface Mwangi was arrested, the last time he was arrested, he said the policeman came to his house. Go listen to that press conference where Martha Karua also joined him. His son was talking and he was basically mimicking what his son was saying. It is like they rehearsed what to say word for word. And I knew this guy is a con job. And Francis Gaito has been exposing these two. So that's why I'm telling you, Hanifa, Boniface Mwangi, Martha Karua, who was exposed by David D some months back when he mentioned that Boniface Mwangi and Martha Karua received money from Ruto 2 years ago when they were in something to do with justice something, whatever, and they pocketed that money. So what I'm trying to say is this, okay? Nani Omtata not being clear about the circumstances surrounding the loss, the disappearance of Kibet. That's number one. Him choosing to run for president, announcing he's running for president in 2027, and knowing that he's not qualified because he doesn't hold a 4-year college degree, which is a requirement to run for presidency. Why is he doing that? Not only that, he includes Hanifa as part of his presidential exploratory committee, a non-NIS agent, okay? So these are the things that I'm saying. And if you look at the Maandamano, he was right front and center, making all the headlines, tear gas, running. The narrative was being created because his credibility was on the line. The government knew that Omtata was being exposed because in the Twitter sphere, everyone was questioning Omtata's credentials, Omtata's Ninio past, who has been funding Omtata and his college degree, and the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of Kibet. So now he came out 48 hours later, mentioning the Maandamano, and the Maandamano was all about him singing in the courts, singing in the jail cell. Oh, he's taking pictures when the tear gas is being lobbed. So you can see the narrative was to paint Omtata as this solid freedom fighter, which I am not buying anymore. So in conclusion, these people, that's what I'm saying. Kenya, we are struggling because the political elites have hired these people to hijack a grassroots revolutionary movement with the faces like Morara, Omtata, Hanifa, Boniface Mwangi, Martha Karua, to suppress. They're doing what Raila Odinga has been doing for the past 2 years, to suppress a grassroots, organic, revolutionary movement from blossoming and removing these political elites, starting with Ruto to everybody else. That is why they put people like Morara to distract everyone, including even Gachagua, who is pretending to now feel sorry for, he wants everybody to feel sorry for him, while when he was government, he was leading the abductions and doing all these sorts of things. So I don't feel sorry for him. But anyway, go ahead.
That's a new one, because what you just said, before the Gen Z movement, we never knew about Hanifa. And if you're going to dismiss each and everyone who is trying to fight the government, why would the government create Hanifa? Why would the government create a movement to fight it while things are going so well? Before the Hanifa was part of the Gen Z movement, these are the people who started agitating for change. So I don't know how the government came now to take over the movement and say,
the same role Kasmuel was doing. Why was Kasmuel was part of Gen Z, right? Where is Kasmuel today?
Kasmuel went out in public and said, I cannot continue to be in the movement. I would rather be in a pub, in a party, in a political movement. He came out and said that.
And we saw Hanifa cheesing it up with Kioni and Kalonzo Musyoka, saying that they're now the whatever opposition.
You see what you are not understanding, Kenya Rebel, in this fight to remove Ruto's government, this opposing, these critics of the government are trying to find a working formula where they can work together to form a coalition, kind of, to fight the government before 2027. That one you should always be on top of your mind.
Okay, but Mzalendo, how can you find a solution to oppose the government with forming an alliance with the very people who have been in this system and are beneficiary of this system for more than 30 years? If I was to join Kalonzo Musyoka, do you really think Kalonzo Musyoka's interest has the same interest as me? If I want to remove Ruto and bring in a president who shall bring an equitable society.
This is how politics works. You have to join a political movement. And if you read the 48 laws of power,
no, that's a lie.
You really
listen.
Listen. Me and you know very well that Kalonzo has been part of the government. True or false? Yeah, that's true. We all know that fact. Is he currently opposing the government? are the facts that is putting up front to oppose the government, are they correct?
Nani, Mzalendo, Kalonzo Musyoka was sitting at Bomas drafting the NADCO report, which is basically a document to divvy up the power between this political class, these politicians. Raila to get this, Kalonzo to be this, to do this. And you think joining forces with Kalonzo will help you defeat Ruto, somebody who he has signed a deal with, NADCO deal with, to share power, to change the constitution so they can make positions for themselves. And you think joining forces with Kalonzo will help you remove Ruto?
Election is about numbers. Election is about numbers. Kalonzo is a constituency that comes with numbers.
Zalendo, I'm talking about revolutionizing the system, a total overhaul of the system, not elections.
Now, okay, fine. Who will lead this revolution?
Kenyans who have no connection with the political class. Kenyans who want equitable society, not the Kalonzos of this world, not the Martha Karuas, not the Raila Odingas, not the Jeremiah Kukioni, not the Gachaguas, not those people. You should associate yourself with them. They are the rot who got us here. That's why I tell you, there's no way you can expect somebody like Kalonzo to change the system if he has been the beneficiary. He is benefiting from this. People are clapping for him when he goes to churches because the system allows him to watu wampigie makofi, and he has accomplished nothing in his life besides bootlicking Moi and Raila buttocks, butt crack. We want to create a society where it is a meritocracy, okay? If you build something, you shall be recognized for it. If you work hard, you shall be recognized for it. Opportunity for all Kenyans, not for people like Hassan Joho who steal and do drugs and they are put it there as minister of I don't know what in the Kabogos. That is what I'm talking about. So these people you cannot join hands with the people who have corrupted the system and have benefit from the system, and you want to tell me that joining hands with them will help you win the election and you can bring the change you want. If you put Kalonzo there, he will do exactly what Ruto is doing. If you put Martha Karua, he'll do exactly what Ruto is doing. If you put Gachagua there, he'll do exactly what Ruto is doing. So
all right.
Don't associate with these people.
Boro, can you jump in?
Give me a minute, Mzalendo.
Yeah. Kenya
Give me a minute, Mzalendo.
Okay.
I'm connecting something here.
It's okay. Kenya Rebel, you said something which are very interesting, and I don't look at it that way. I look at every other Kenyan has got a role to play in the Kenyan politics. Whether you've been there in the past, there is something that Kalonzo can bring on the table. One, I think Kalonzo understands the system and how the system works. He might not be the one who is leading the revolution, but he can be part of the revolution. So I cannot dismiss each and everyone who is now anti-William Ruto, that, since you worked with William Ruto before, then we cannot trust you. That cannot be a yardstick for judging my cautious. So the fact that I supported William Ruto does not mean that I am just one of the same with William Ruto. Maybe I've changed my mind. Only a fool refuses to change his mind sometimes. But circumstances can also lead you to change your mind that, we have been doing this for a very long time and electing the same leaders. Why can't we do something different? And this time around, we have a coalition and have something new as a presidential candidate. I think that is what we are looking for. But if we dismiss each and every of these candidates, what they will do, they will gang up behind William Ruto and support William Ruto, or because they come with a constituency. And how do we convince the constituency that supports Kalonzo Musyoka that now it is time for you to leave this guy and support? Just the same way, how do we convince the constituency that supports Raila Odinga?
by your logic,
wait a minute,
today,
wait a minute, revolutionary.
okay.
You know, in Kenya, ninataka I put it in our language. Ukiangalia buzi kwa juu ya ngozi kuna tunyama huwa imetokelezea huku, sio nyama na sio ngozi, huwa tunaita jagadha. Katika siasa za Kenya kuna buzi na kuna jagadha. Jagadha ni ile ya kuhang, ile imehang, sio nyama, haiko kwa nyama na haiko kwa ngozi. Nadhani umewaiona hiyo kwa buzi. Sasa kwa saa hii kuna wale wenye wamehang kama hiyo tunyama ama tugozi huwa imehang juu ya ile ngozi ya buzi, na hao ni kama kina watu kama Murara, hawajulikani kama wako kwa nyama ama wako kwa ngozi. Ni watu kama kina Umutata, hao ni jagadha. Ni watu kama kina Matiang'i wote wamehang, sio ngozi na sio nyama. Sasa katika siasa ya Kenya kuna wenye siasa na kuna wale wa kuhang. Wanahang kama hiyo jagadha inahangi kwa ngozi ya buzi, haiko kwa nyama, haiko kwa ngozi. Hawa watu kukua chochote especially katika kiti cha urais ni gumu sana. Lakini sasa kuna wanasiasa haswa, na hawa wanasiasa popularity yao inakuja kwa kitu tunaita the strongholds. Hapo ndipo unasikia sasa ile msemo wa Kiswahili unasema mcheza kwao hutunzwa. Kwanza hawa watu huwa wana solidify their tribal votes. Kwa hivyo hata kabla aende kwa national kusema ati mimi naweza taka kiti cha urais, wale wote wanaongea kama yeye, he has convinced them that I'm the best for you before even he goes to negotiation or even to campaign to any other region. And those people wenye sasa ndio buzi hasa ama wenye hao ndio wenye nyama kabisa ni watu kama Raila Odinga, mwenye nikiguza tu jina yake kwa njia mbaya hapa kuna watu kama milioni kadhaa imekwaruza. Kuna mtu kama Uhuru Kenyatta mwenye utakuta akona strong support base. Kuna mtu kama Gachagua, kuna mtu kama Kalonzo, na sasa tuongezee mwenye sio kabisa lakini yako hapo hivyo, Wetangula na Musalia, the twin brothers. Mtu mwingine kabla ingie sasa kwa hiyo kikundi inakuwa ni ngumu sana. So saa hii kitaka kuangalia objectively siasa ya Kenya, mtu mwenye akona possibility ya kuwa rais, it is either Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka au William Ruto saa hii, sababu Gachagua ako impeached na koti haijamuondolea kusema ya kwamba hawezi simama. Maybe the koti itakuja kusema anaweza simama or something like that, lakini kwa saa hii hawezi akasimama. Saa hii Kenya wenye wanaweza kuwa uongozi ni watu watatu, lakini saa hii tukiongea kama uchaguzi ufanywe saa hii, mwenye anaweza angusha Ruto ni Kalonzo Musyoka. Kwa sababu gani? Behind Kalonzo kuna Eugene Wamalwa ataleta kura kidogo hapo. Kuna inaonekana wanaenda kufanya kazi na Natembea, ataletewa kura kidogo hapo. Central Kenya 80% saa hii kwa sababu inaelekea Gachagua will support Kalonzo. Hiyo ndio inaonekana itampatia around between 5 and 6 million, atakuwa assured yeye mwenyewe kwa sababu ya hiyo political backyard akona kutoka 2 point something million. Huyo mtu possibility yake ya kuwa rais iko juu sana. Huyo anaweza shidana na Ruto kwa sababu ya kile tunaita the power of numbers. politics is about numbers. Tukiongea kuhusu mtu kama Omotata, we should not even be thinking about presidency, kwa sababu ni namba akona na ile tunaita popularity yake ama ushawishi kwa Kiswahili. Ushawishi wake kwa wananchi ni kiasi gani? Ni wangapi wanaweza wakampigia kura? The same case with Morara. Saa hii tuseme uchaguzi ufanywe ama even 2027, ni watu wangapi atakuwa ameconvince that surely wanaweza wakampigia kura? So ninaelewa vyenye Mzalendo unasema na vyenye Kenya Liberal anasema, lakini Kenya hauwezi toka na huko kichakani useme mimi ni mzuri sana, sijawahi iba, sijawahi kuwa na corruption, sijawahi kuwa hivi, mimi ndiye nitabadilisha hii. Wa Kenya hawatakuamini. Ukweli ni kwamba bado tuko na ile tribal mindset. Kwanza ukubalike kwenu, kama wewe ni Mkisii, Wakisii wote wakufuate, alafu sasa watu wengine watasema huyu amekubalika kwao, he has something he can bring on the table. Hiyo ndio siasa ya Kenya. Lakini kuja ukisema sijui siasa ukabila tuliweka kando, watakwambia ni sawa, sio mkabila, lakini siku ya uchaguzi utakipata cha mtema kuni. That is Kenya, and that is the truth about the politics of Kenya.
Okay. Sawa. Wacha nikuambie kitu. Hawa wanasiasa ambao naita mbuzi yenyewe, hawa sijui Raila Odinga, sijui Musyoka, Uhuru Kenyatta, Ruto, Wakenya wamewaona. Wameshatuongoza kwa hizo miaka zote, tukaona uongozi wao, tumewatambua na tumewagundua. Unaona, tumejua wanatuchezea. Kazi yao ni kucheza hapa, wanajifanya ati mimi ndio mkubwa wa sijui Nyanza, mimi ndio kiongozi wa sijui Rift Valley, mimi ndio kiongozi wa sijui hapa. Tunaenda tunawapigia kura ikifika siku ya uchaguzi, alafu mtu akishindwa vita, alafu tena.
Sasa tuambie revolutionary. Yeah. Revolutionary, kuna mtu amekuuliza swali hapa. Kwa wakati huu wewe, kulingana na maoni yako, maana hiyo choices zote nimekupatia, umeona Wakenya wameshawajua ni sawa, ni nani unaona anaweza kuwa rais wa Kenya?
Wacha niwasaidie. Sasa hizi hatuko uchaguzi. Unajua hata yule mtu anaweza kuwa rais wa Kenya, hata maybe saa hizi hawezi kutambulika. Anaweza kutokea mwaka ujao na ashinde hii uchaguzi. What I'm trying to say is this. Let me help you.
Ni uongo. Okay. Ni uongo. Ni uongo. Nakwambia ni uongo. Sio Kenya.
Wacha nitoe maoni yangu na mimi basi. Wacha niwaambie.
Haya.
Hawa wanasiasa ndio maana ulikuwa unasikia Ichungu akiongea vile naongea. Mbadi, Gachagua, Kaluma, Ogoda, Robert Alai, Murkomen. The only way they can stay in power is to perpetuate this whole idea of tribal regionalism. Unaona, Mount Kenya ishikane na sijui Rift Valley, alafu tukiweka hizo namba mbili itashinda Nyanza wakishikana na Western. That is the only way they've stayed in power. Gen Z ilituonyesha kitu. Tribeless, leaderless, partyless. Ndio maana ukaona hao watu wakashikana mara moja vile Gen Z ilikuwa inataka kutoa Ruto. Because Gen Z walisema hii mambo ya kusema ati mimi ndio mkubwa wa mlima Kenya, mimi ndio mkubwa wa sijui Lakes ndio Rift Valley, hiyo hatutaki. What are your policies? This generation is a new generation. Kuna mtu alisema hivyo hata kwa hiyo ninio. Ni nani? Natembea hata alisema hiyo kitu kwa hiyo ninio, that burial, if you heard his speech. They're informed, na wamejua vizuri Raila Odinga has been opposition. Nini amesaidia? Which government has he checked? Kibaki was in the Neo. What did Kibaki accomplish? Kenyatta won, Moi, Uhuru, Ruto now. Martha Karua sinalikuwa kwa serikali pia. Kalonzo sinalikuwa sijui vice president. Hii mchezo wa town itaisha. And that's what we are saying. Lakini Mburu, when I hear you speak, even Mzalendo, muko na ile inaitwaje? Attitude. This is how things are. In order to win presidency, you have to be very famous from where you come from. I'll give you an example of who mtu alikuwa anauza bangi hapa, alikuwa si kuuza bangi, alikuwa na ninio, mtu wa mabangi anaitwa Wajakoya. Wajakoya came out from where? Kwani alikuwa the most famous person in huko Western Province? No, he wasn't.
Na alikuwa na
and he got how many million votes?
No.
How many million votes?
No, listen.
As compared to
the
competitors.
I'm making a bigger point that can help you understand how things work and how the dynamics of Kenyan politics are working. Okay? Young people were excited by the idea of this pothead who had different ideas, who was different from all these traditional parochial leaders. And that's why I'm saying, instead of thinking, because ukizidi kufikiria hivyo and you've resigned to accept ati mpaka ukuwe na political leader, regional leader, tribal leader, ashikane na tribal leader mwingine, things will remain the same and it will never change until tukufe na tuendelee.
Now, Kenya Rebel, let me just tell you that Wajakoya only came with the data analysis of how many people smoke weed with the votes that he got. So those are the people who really supported him. I don't think that he had got any ideology that.
Okay, let me ask you this: What forced?
I can't even waste my time discussing Wajakoya.
No, okay.
When we are talking of presidency.
Hold on. Listen to understand the bigger point I'm making. What forced Ruto to change his cabinet and to resign not sign the finance bill? Was it Raila Odinga?
To drop the finance bill?
Yes. Was it Raila Odinga? Was it?
It was because of polarization.
So many things.
Of who?
One.
It was, you see.
One of the demonstration.
Yeah, there were so many factors. So many factors.
Not just
one, he saw an opportunity. He saw an opportunity to reshuffle his cabinet because there were some people he wanted to kick out. He only used Gen Zs as an excuse, as one. The other thing, he didn't want the polarization of the country to continue because the economy was being affected to a larger extent. And I told you, and I remember saying here, these Gen Zs who are saying they are leaderless, they are going nowhere. Hakuna kitu imewahi succeed bila kiongozi. Na wale wenye tulikuwa tunaona kama ni viongozi ni hawa kina Samuel. Sasa inakuambia hakana mwelekeo. Akajulikani kama kako kwa serikali ama kako kwa upinzani. Sasa before you talk of Gen Z, kitu cha kwanza wachukue votes zenye hata huwa hawana.
Okay.
Kitu cha pili wakuwe organized kujua ya kwamba watavote. They don't even vote, many of them. They don't vote. Number two, they don't even they have not fronted anybody as a leader whom they are supporting. So we should not even be wasting time to talk of Gen Zs who have not shown the direction they are taking. All what we are doing is just speculation and ile ambayo uko nayo revolutionary sahi tunaitanga the dream. It's a dream of one day things will change. We also have the same dream.
No.
Ndoto ya mambo itabadilika.
Okay.
Lakini bado hayajabadilika.
Listen to me. You know you have to listen to sometimes. Okay?
Sasa nasikiza.
The Gen Z were not those young people you just think it was Gen Zote. It was not just Gen Z. These were Kenyans. They were just branded Gen Z because the majority of the people who went to Maandamano were the young folks. Okay? They almost overthrew Ruto. These were people from all tribes, all whatever, or section of the country. It was not Mount Kenya. It was not people of Luo people. It was not the Kisii people. It was not the Western people. They went there and they chased those MPs. And you saw how they were running like cats who have seen a dog. And they wanted to go to State House. What am I trying to show you here? No one stood there that something that Raila Odinga could not do, because Raila Odinga is a coward. He's part of the system. What am I trying to tell you here? This narrative, you know, your mind is so locked into this regional politics, you cannot imagine or even think that Kenya can change if we all came together like Gen Zs did come together to remove whoever is in power. Number two, stop this nonsense about that, they don't register to vote, they don't do this. This is nonsense.
They don't.
People are not registering to vote. If anything, Kenya is one of the most politically active people, the young people in Kenya. These people register to vote. We know what happens when the voting time to vote comes to happen. Rigging. The only early president who won legitimately was in 2002 when Kibaki won. Even if you register, even if Gen Z register 100%, even 200% or 1,000%, if we have IBC that has been put there and Ruto is the president today, and we have a constituted IBC as it stands, Ruto will still be the president 2027. Kwa sababu gani? The same reason 2017 Uhuru Kenyatta was the president. Stealing election and using force. Na mtampeleka mahali. So this nonsense about saying that go register and vote, is a fallacy, it's a lie. People register. Hiyo ni uongo ambao sitakubali.
Sasa wewe kama unajua lazima hata katika argument kukuwe na mwelekeo. Kitu cha kwanza, we have to agree that as much as there can be rigging, registration to vote is very important. It's very paramount, because in Kenya we choose our leaders through the ballot box. So if you don't have a vote, you are just useless, because shouting out there will not help. That is number one. Number two, I remember we were in the same platform here where I told Gen Zs, can you retreat, go and reorganize yourself? If anything, if you want to make any impact in this country, in terms of organization, you must be very strategic. And I said here, because people were saying, oh, they are going to overthrow the government of Ruto. And I said, and I told them here, they were even coming in the platform. I told them, Ruto is an experienced politician. You can't just kick Ruto out just like that. Even those who are planning to run against him in 2027, they must have very superior strategies, without which we will only be speculating.
Okay.
We will always be imagining and dreaming of that Kenya that we want.
Okay. Jeff.
So what you should be telling your team, and this is the advice I give to young people. Point number one, go reorganize yourselves, go have a party, go have a leader, then you can talk to us. Without which you are telling us nothing, and you will not become anything.
Okay, listen to
in
me.
The Republic of
Listen
Kenya.
to me, Jeff. You can register everyone you want. Even the whole world can register to vote in Kenya. If Ruto is the president and he has captured the IBC, you are not going to defeat him. The same way in 2017. Do you want to tell me that Uhuru won in 2017? Do you want to tell me that
he won
in 2007?
He won.
You see,
what evidence do you have to say that he did not win? He won.
Okay. Why did Maraga rule that
the same way you feel that he leaked is the same way we believe that he won?
Jeff, if you're going to deny, let's argue with facts, not what you think because you like Uhuru Kenyatta. Listen to me. Maraga ruled that there was enough evidence to suggest that this election in 2017 was not transparent, verifiable, and he could not uphold that Uhuru won the elections. That was the judgment.
But he did not. But he did not state
So why
that
did he
it
call
was
for an
rigged.
election? No, listen to me.
No, he said, he proposed several changes so that the election can be
Listen,
verifiable
Jeff,
and transparent.
why did he propose those things before?
He
Why
did
just
not say.
Listen to me.
No, listen.
No, you need
He
to listen
did not
because you don't
say.
understand how the law
He
works.
did not say
Listen,
the elections were rigged.
Jeff, please. There's a reason why he made those recommendations. If Uhuru won in 2017, he could have upheld the judgment just like Koome upheld the judgment of the decision of IBC in 2022. But that's not what Maraga did. Maraga said
he proposed changes that were supposed to be made to strengthen the electoral system.
Why did it? Listen, election has happened. The case goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court justice says that there's evidence that shows that this election is not verifiable, which is a requirement in the Constitution. You have to verify how you got
Can I tell you?
No, you listen.
Can I tell you?
Teach you.
That
You
was
don't understand what you're talking about.
no. You see, you have talked so much. You are talking too much, and you are trying to convince me to agree with you.
Now, let me
which what you are saying.
Mburu and Kenya Rebel. The thing is, Mainakia's ruling was simple. Wait, listen. Mainakia ruled in the favor of the civil society. The case brought by Maina Kiai against IBC. This is what the ruling. Elections are conducted at the polling point. And
that's a different case. You are talking about a different ruling. Kiai went to the court to ascertain where does the presidential election should be declared. It wasn't about the results that happened. Okay? The petition that
if you ask Raila Odinga.
Can you just listen?
Even if you ask Raila Odinga,
I get irritated when I'm making a point. So
he will tell you he never won in 2017.
Let him say what he wants to say.
Listen.
You are talking too much. And you are repeating yourself.
You don't want to listen.
No, let Mburu.
You're just repeating yourself. Saying the same thing.
Listen.
Okay, I'll mute your mic. Kenya Rebel, say what you want to say.
This guy, where do you find these people? Listen to me. The ruling was made after the elections. The petitioner claimed he had won. So they looked at the evidence, and Maraga ruled that this election is not verifiable, it wasn't transparent, and the Constitution says it has to be verifiable and it has to be transparent. So he recommended what needs to be done because he cannot tell IBC what to do because it's an independent body. Okay? So if you're claiming that Uhuru won, and based on the evidence that was examined in the judicial system, judiciary, which is the arm of government that has to make that adjudication, has the power to do so, it says that Nani did not win fair and square. That's why he recommended what he recommended. And the IEBC was supposed to be reconstituted. But Uhuru, being a dictator, murderous dictator of Ninio, the worst president was Ruto, who has killed people with Thumgiki, went and intimidated Ninio, IEBC. Okay? And he shot Justice Mwita's Ninio. That's why he's running. He shot Justice Mwita's bodyguard to swear himself in 2017. Then you have this person coming here telling us that Nani won. Won where? Don't come here with lies.
Japolo, what is wrong?
Nani chalongech, obirokege Miriambo.
What do you mean?
Don't come here with lies. We know what happened. People lost their lives over that. So don't come here playing around because
Muru has dropped or what? I was expecting more fire. And Muru seemingly has dropped. I wanted you to.
He's a coward, like most Uhuru Kenyatta's followers are cowards.
No. I don't.
You see, that's
Muru
not how you are behaving like Kimani Ichung'wah. And I've always respected your argument.
I gave you.
You are going too low.
Like
now, listen. what you are doing is shouting. What you are doing is shouting and misbehaving.
Listen, I wasn't
You have
shouting, I
given
was
your
making a
submission.
point.
Now listen to me.
I have this ruling. I have this ruling here.
You are shouting. You are
Listen,
shouting.
annulled.
Keep quiet now.
You can't
Listen.
tell me to keep out. I'll
This
talk
is
the way I want.
that
You don't tell me to
that
keep
was
quiet.
your understanding.
It was not understanding. It's
No,
facts.
but you have to have some decorum.
Okay, you know
Well,
what?
let's
You
have
are
a
behaving like a hooligan.
No,
That's not you.
Let somebody
That was the
Have you
fact.
smoked
Check.
something?
You don't shout
Go
them
check
down.
the ruling by Maraga.
I've just put the
What have you
ruling.
smoked today?
Okay, can you put it there again
So,
for him to read?
So let's
Mr. Rendo,
move.
I think my
Put the ruling there so he can
internet
read.
is not very good.
In 2017, Chief David Maraga made a historic ruling when he annulled. Why would he annul elections that has been done? Was it because he was bored?
Yeah, I think he annulled it because there were irregularities and the elections. There were irregularities in that elections. That is the reason why.
Then someone
the
comes here and says Uhuru won. Won what?
And illegalities. He talked about illegalities in the process of the elections. Illegalities in the process of the elections. That's why.
Then who will come here and tell us that Uhuru won? You see where my frustration comes from?
He didn't say that Uhuru lost.
He said that Uhuru Kenyatta won that election. That's what Mburu said.
Yeah, but Maraga did not say that Uhuru lost.
Okay, so why did he annul it?
He annulled it because there were irregularities in the process of election.
Right. And then what happened
Yeah, there
after?
were things that they were not conducted.
Okay.
Even if he had the victory, the way it was announced, then irregularities were there, and that's why
let's
we
continue.
for the
What happened after that?
They called for a fresh elections.
Before that, did Nani go to State House?
Who?
Chebukati.
I don't know where they went to do what.
Yeah. Yes.
He went to do what to State House?
Exactly.
He went to do what? I'm asking you, what did he go to do to State House?
You tell me, because after that, that's what happened. He went, and the reason why Maraga had recommendations that the IEBC were to do, which part of it was the reconstitution of the IEBC, meaning a fresh referee, including Chebukati was supposed to go home. But
now,
Kenyatta,
now that we know all this process, now that we know,
then what happened? The opposition boycotted because the IEBC refused to carry out the recommendations by the ruling by the Chief Justice, the Supreme Court. They refused. That's why the opposition boycotted, and Uhuru Kenyatta ran by himself, declaring himself the president of Kenya. Okay, on his birthday, to make it worse. Okay, after Justice Mwita's bodyguard was shot to death. Intimidation tactic. Now, someone to come here and say Uhuru won in 2017, it's an affront to everybody, families that were shot down by Mungiki, by Kenyatta. So Nani should be sober when he comes here to debate people.
Yeah, I think Muru is on the background. He will come and answer those charges. But one thing that there's something also you alluded here that that Omtata does not have a degree, so he cannot run for president.
Yes, and not only that, the point that I also wanted to make was this whole nonsense about register and vote.
This is Omtata. He has a bachelor degree in commerce.
Where's
distance learning, University.
Last time I heard, he actually dropped out of that class. That's what he said.
Initially, he had dropped out from a course to do with the law or with the I don't know which course he had dropped out, but in his CV, this is what is there. So unless it's
Fair
lying
enough.
now,
Fair enough. Let me finish the comment and say that then I'll come back to that. The point I was making is this whole nonsense about you need to register to vote. It will be wonderful to register if we had a functioning IEBC, but if you have the head of state, the president, who is influencing, actually is presiding over the IEBC, do you think you're going to win that elections? It is just like saying, let's try to impeach Ruto through this parliament. And you know the influence that Ruto has in this parliament. Do you think you shall impeach him? The same thing I'm saying about IEBC. So to tell us here to assume you need to register, and this is the same nonsense that they usually come and tell us that, the people of Western and Nyanza, they have low registration. They don't register to vote. A total lie. People register to vote.
I think what we need to understand, and you need to understand, is that there is always a tribal factor in Kenyan politics. That has not changed, and it has not changed with the emergence of JNC. And that will be a factor in 2027. So we have to come to a junction where we say that how do we include tribe as a factor to get a new leader in 2027? It is a factor, or you'll dismiss it, yes, but you'll dismiss it at the end of the day that, no, we don't think like that anymore. We think like that.
It's a factor, yes, but that's why we need, Gen Z showed us the way. We tribeless, leaderless, partyless. These parties are a racket for criminal activities, okay? Tribe is being used to divide and play these silly number games that they've been telling us by the conmen like Raila and the rest, okay? That's why I'm saying, instead of sitting down and say, huyu ndio mkubwa wa sijui Nyanza, huyu ndio mkubwa wa sijui Central Huo Mountain, and this nonsense and all that nonsense, we should divorce from that and start looking at candidates, vet them, and say, listen, what's your track record? What are you offering Kenyans? What's your political philosophy? What about that? Inquire, do your research about these candidates. Don't just go by, huyo hata huko kwao hawamjui yeye ni nani, kwa nini anakuja kutuambia mambo ya nini? That's the mentality that Kenya is at the crossroads right now. They are fighting to bring the new way of thinking, because the Ichungwas and the Murkomens want us to stick with that mentality you have, you and Nani. You are sitting there saying, we are tribalist, tuko na ukabila, it will never change. Let's just accept the way. If you are surrendering to that, then you might as well just tell Ruto to continue 2027. And that's what I'm fighting to do. That's why I started channel. That's why I'm involved in these discussions.
Yeah. That is why we are all, we fight in different fronts. We fight with different tactics. Gen Z, as much as they are very, very influential, and they need to first register a political party called, I've heard from TikTokers that Gen Z have a political party called the Gen Z's Political Alliance. Now, if that party is going to be registered, then they have to, Kenya is a coalition. You have to have a coalition with so many parties. Gen Z's alone, just listen. Gen Z's, be a good listener. Sometimes.
I'm listening, I'm not saying anything.
You are nodding your head and it's irritating with your long hair, So I'm seeing that two heads being nodded like this. You're moving your head with your long hair.
Okay, let me listen without.
Now, can you be a good listener?
Okay.
This Gen Z movement is a good thing, but it needs to be structured. They need to understand, and including yourself, and that apart from that, the voting block that is there in the Gen Z, there is. You said something else, that there are the boomers in the movement. How do we come together with even the political class who feel that they want to be part of the movement? Are you going to dismiss Kalonzo or Kioi, who wants to be in the movement, not as leaders, but as supporting the movement, that they can't join because they've been there before?
Gen Z is not just a age group. Gen Z is all Kenyans who have refused to fall into this political elite tricks of regionalism based on tribal groupings. Okay? These are Kenyans who have realized that they're being played. Okay? So they're coming together to change the system. So if you want to change the system, you cannot associate yourself with the political class who are the greatest beneficiary, who has brought us here, basically. Okay? It's like saying you want to end racism, then you go shake hands with Hitler and tell him, hey, join us, it's okay, we are about to change things here. And you're shaking hands with Hitler. What are you doing? No. And you don't need a political party. You don't need a political party. You can agree on who you want to lead the movement when that time comes. The most important thing is to galvanize as a people, Kenyan people, to come together and recognize that our problem is because of this irredeemably corrupt group we call political elites, the Kalonzos, the Kionis, the Railas, the Uhuru, the Musyokas, Martha Karuas. Fight the system. And this is why I was advocating for these people of Kenya to come out in the streets and exercise Article 1 of the Constitution, where they withdraw the power that they delegated to these so-called parliamentarians and Ruto and all these people. Exercise their sovereign power.
My last question to you for this evening, Kenya Rebel, is regarding the abductions. Do you think that these boys are still alive?
I have no idea, but what I would recommend is when Pablo Escobar was terrorizing Colombia, there was a group that called themselves Los Pepes. Go look at what Los Pepes did. That's what we should do with these politicians. I won't say what they did, but go just type Los Pepes, LOSPEPES, and watch how they dealt with people who Pablo Escobar. That's how we should deal with Ruto, and that's how they liberated their country. I'll leave it there. Peace and blessings. Thank you, Muzalendo.
All right. Thank you very much, Kenya Rebel, and nice seeing you back on the channel. Kenya Rebel is one of our political analysts. Viewers, we come to an end of yet another very intriguing and interesting show where we had wonderful speakers. Jeffrey Mburu dropped out at some point. I think the show was too hot, maybe the internet glitch. But just as Kenya Rebel had said, go read that book. Go read that book that he has mentioned. I've forgotten even the name by that movement by Escobar, Pablo Escobar, called Los Pepes. Los Pepes was paramilitary from the group. So I think we can't go that direction. That is his own imagination that Kenya can go into that direction. But guys, we have got a country called Kenya. We want the best of the best country. We want the best leaders to be in power. We want the best governors. We want the best MPs. We want the best senators. But how do we do it? We need a lot of civic education. We need to put good leaders in place without shedding more blood. The government is denying that it has been kidnapping these young people. The police IG is also saying the same. So we citizens of Kenya, today, if you see these thugs abducting young people, then the best thing you should do is to react. Make sure that you save a life there, because these are just thugs, maybe looking for ransom or I don't know the message that they want to pass around. But political class, leaders in position, be it you are minority leader or majority leader, be responsible on your utterances, because you can ignite tribal animosities and hatred in the country. We have a country called Kenya. We have until 2027 to decide who is the best suited for the presidency. For the time being, I urge all political players to be responsible. All channels, we need also to be responsible in our discussions. So here in Africa, we accept each and every one. If you're from government, you just come here, tell us your point. And if you are also from the opposition, opposing the government, please also step in and tell us what you feel about the government of the day. I can see Andrew here. Andrew, you just stepped in. We are almost winding up the show. We have done 3 hours of this discussion. And maybe you've got a word or two to say before we wind up. Say something. Andrew. Andrew, your mic is on. Can you say something? Andrew, your mic is now off. You unmute your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, yeah, great. Sorry, I just got the link late. I just got up to get things going. No, I don't have too much to add other than I'll catch up with the show to see what people talked about. So it was great to hop in here.
Yeah. We talked about so many things. We talked, there's a dude here, Kenya Rebel. Kenya Rebel, if you're still on the background, he was talking about, we talked about the candidates, we talked about the abduction. The general view of the people who stepped in today's show was that we don't have a candidate in Okiya Mtata, we don't have a candidate in Morara. The Gen Z needs to look for a candidate by the end of the day. Everybody is treating each other with a lot of suspicion. One gentleman said NIFA is an NIS project, but I don't know, but those could just be speculations. So everybody has got their own way of looking at things, but by and large, we discussed about tribe and politics and why the Gen Zs need to work together, or why the young leaders who are coming up need to work together. I also brought up the issue of age in the presidency, but everybody was telling me that the presidential age limit is to vie is 35, but what is written in the Constitution is it does not give a definite figure on when to exit the scene as a politician. When can you not vie? So that was left over.
We saw that the other day too. But just to throw in my last part, just to conclude this conversation, regardless of who the candidate is, I think at the end of the day is how do we fix the system? And from the perspective I come from is transparency. We are in an age of AI and blockchain and automation and government systems and services, just like if you see how Elon Musk is trying to do with Department of Government Efficiency, is using AI to regulate human ineptness or the human, and taking out that opportunity for corruptness, so that if we have everything on a blockchain that's shown what each government official's promises were, shows how they've executed, and this can be done just by verifying on the ground or verifying with images or verifying with data. I think that's how we should also look at things.
I see, Andrew, I think you come very much in Andy, and if the government is listening, probably they need some of your services. You can give them, of course, at a fee. You can negotiate with them and tell them, you can automate all these services. Everything that you're doing, they can be somewhere people can just access them in one click of a button.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Rift Valley, see what the government projects are, it's just by a click of a button. But this government does not listen. I hope they're listening to Afrique today. If they want somebody to work on that kind of automation in AI, there are people out there, because elections are getting sophisticated by the day.
Yep.
It is getting more of an internet-based kind of election. Information, every information is in the internet app. So even campaigns, the guy who will be winning the election at the end of the day will come from the internet. The internet will have done like 60% of his campaigns.
Yep.
So that is what the political class ought to know. So Andrew, thank you for jumping in. Although we have done 3 hours, I hope next time you'll come early enough so that we can crunch some of the numbers we have in the Gen Z movement and how elections have been happening in Kenya, and whether a new candidate stands a chance. Because one thing that is coming out clearly is that somebody who has not been in politics before will find it very, very difficult to beat William Ruto's government.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, and have a good evening and Happy New Year.